Okay, we are live. We should be live at least. Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're live. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What's going on, guys? What is going on? Not done a stream in a while, so I thought I'd do one. Bit of boxing talk on a Tuesday evening. It's actually been a relatively nice day today in the UK. Still not as warm as I'd like it to be, but it's been decent enough. It's been decent enough. But yeah, I've been trying to get back into fight shape in the last couple of weeks. I've I've just really been ticking over. So I've not really been doing too much. So like just basic shit. So I've been doing basically in the last sort of 3 weeks now, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, planking, about 3 2-mile runs a week. Just trying to get back into it to like some sort of shape, and in a couple of weeks I'll go back down boxing gym and take it seriously. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back down the gym. There's a new gym opened a few miles from me, about 6 miles, and it looks relatively decent. So I'll check that out, and we'll go from there. Preparing for the Misfits debut. I know, right? You never know. If I got the right offer, I'd do it. But I want to go back down the gym first, see if I get the bug for it again, see if I catch that bug. And if I do, yeah, I would do it. But if I don't feel right doing it, if I'm not feeling it, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go there to, I wouldn't do it if I didn't feel that I could train to a certain standard and maintain it. If I can't do that, if I don't have a motivation, I wouldn't do it. But if they paid me, I'd do it. Even if they paid me shit money, I'd probably still do it for the experience, just to say, it'd be kind of a bit of a brag, like a bit of a brag, right? Fighting on like fucking in front of people on live stream, even if it's at a low level, you still go through the same things. And I boxed like way back when I was younger. I wasn't that great, but so I got some basics. For me now, even my stamina's not that bad though. I've kind of like been super inactive in recent times, but my stamina's not that bad. So I'm only doing 2-mile runs at the moment, but that's like no break and like there's no stops, and I intermittently sprint as well. And 2 miles is pretty much nothing, even though I've been super inactive. So I could easily bang out 4 miles without too much trouble. So compared to like the average couch potato, my stamina is still levels better. My stamina is still levels better than like the average person who doesn't really do anything. Bro, I know people who go down the gym and they can barely run a mile, to be honest. So in terms of cardio, my cardio is not exactly where it used to be, but I still feel my cardio is better than the majority of people. Not all, obviously, but the majority. What do you reckon will go down in the big fight Saturday? And what do you make of the card as a whole? Yeah. So Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Interesting fight. Interesting fight. Now, one thing I will say, like this fight has had no promotion whatsoever. Like I kind of forgot it was happening this weekend. I can't lie. I kind of forgot. I forgot it was happening, and I've got to be honest, guys. For some reason, I'm not as excited as I'd thought I'd be. I've got a feeling this fight is going to be boring, no matter who wins. I could see a lot of holding, a lot of mauling, that sort of thing. Intermittent action. I'm not convinced that this fight is going to deliver as a pay-per-view main event. I'm not convinced. As of right now, I see it as a 50-50. I think Lomachenko is clearly a more skilled guy, but Devin Haney is much bigger. He's younger. He is fresher. He's got the physical attributes on his side. To me, this fight, a lot of this fight is going to come down in regards to how it's officiated. I'm talking about the referee, what he allows in there. That's gonna play a big part in this fight. In regards to the undercard, Junto Nakatani versus Andrew Maloney, decent fight. That is for the WBO super flyweight title, which is vacant. Obviously, Inoue vacated that title. Andrew Maloney's been a good contender for a while now, good fighter. Junto Nakatani is a guy who I've been excited about for quite some time now. I think Junto's a really good fighter, former flyweight champion, of course. Cool, rangy southpaw. For super flyweight, he's 5'7.5", long reach, good power, really smooth guy. Good accuracy. He's a good fighter, Junto. I'm expecting him to take care of Maloney, and I'm expecting him to maybe stop him as well. But I think Maloney gives him work. I think Maloney gives him a bit of work while he's in there. You've also got Raymond Muratala, who I've seen before, but I forget where. I've seen this guy before, and I wasn't that convinced. I'm sure I've seen this guy get dropped sometime. Raymond Muratala, he is fighting Jeremiah Nakatia, who, of course, recently knocked out Miguel Burchell. That's a decent fight. So, yeah, Muratala is like an unbeaten lightweight, 17-0, 14 KOs. I've seen a bit of him, not really that impressed. So Nakatia could have a good chance in that fight. Oscar Valdez is on the undercard. I never knew that. Oscar Valdez is having a rematch against Adam Lopez. Now, that first fight was kind of booky because Adam Lopez dropped Valdez in that bout and hurt him as well, was having success. And Valdez then stopped Lopez later on in like round 7. And I think from my memory, it was a bad stoppage. So those two guys are having a rematch. That'll be a good fight. Aside from that, you have a lot of prospects on the undercard. Abdullah Mason, who's a good prospect. Nico Ali Walsh, who I don't rate. There's a few guys on the undercard as well. What's up, Nordic? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Michael Pussy, hi there. Much better than Addy's channel. Well, thank you. That's what happened to me. I had 3 years off and didn't have much interest in boxing again. And then in September, I got convinced to go back to the gym and fell back in love with it. Now 4 times a week, yeah, sick. So the gym I'm looking at, so it does I think it's 3 classes a week, where there's sparring and shit, all that nonsense. But you can have 24-hour access to the gym, which I'm kind of looking for because I'll do crazy. I'll pop down there midnight and shit, and do you know what I mean? So I just want to see what I have left, basically. I want to see what I have left. But big up to Nordic. Big up to Nordic every time, man. I know I should do more lives, man. It's just time, honestly. It's just time. And good luck for your exam waived. Same Nordic. I don't stay up for many fights. Yeah, Maloney's a solid test. Yeah, both Maloney brothers are good. Jason, his brother, won a world title this past weekend. Andy Cruz is good. I think he's a good fighter. Very talented. The new generation of Cuban fighters, to me, seem a lot more watchable. I quite like Robeisy Ramirez. He's good to watch. David Morrell is good to watch. Have these guys finally started to realize this is also a spectator sport? And Andy Cruz looks similar to me from what I've seen in the amateurs. He can do a bit of everything. I think maybe these Cubans are starting to take note of what they have to do in the pros. Yeah, that was nonsense, wasn't it? Valdez will go into journeyman mode most likely. I think not right now, but maybe after a couple more losses. Florian Marku knocks out Roly. Well, he should do, really. My gym is similar, 3 days a week, lots of sparring. And there is another one right round the corner where you can go any day and do what you want. Yeah. And the gym does competitive sparring that I'm going to go to. They'll spar other gym members and shit. Lot from rival gyms. They'll do competitions as well, like amateur shit. I'm not looking at fighting amateur. Or I might do it. But I want to try and get sharp again. Try and have some sort of routine in regards to workouts and exercise because I'm not the type of cunt to lift weights. I'm a lanky, thin dude. I've never been interested in lifting weights. I don't find it fun at all. I need something that I can really get into, and boxing's really been the only thing. That guy's a prick, Michael Pussy. I don't know what he's done now, but he's an idiot. Prime Hay, Prime Fury. I think Fury beats him late, probably stops him late. But Hay would be dangerous. Yeah, the Rigo days of the sport are over. Hopefully, man, because they've got some talented fighters. Cuba coming through. Like I say, Morel is good to watch. He puts his shit together. Good power, takes risks. Rabasi Ramirez is quite a good boxer to watch on the eye, and I think Andy Cruz is going to be similar. I do. But the Eastern Europeans had that same kind of transition as well. When they first came to the pros, they were seen as like dull, robotic, straight up and down, high guard, 1-2. They kind of morphed their style as well as more of them went to the pros. And I think you're going to see the same with Cubans. Good fight, yeah. Kozabutski's a interesting heavyweight. Southpaw. I think he's from Kazakhstan, right? Kozabutski. He's a southpaw. He's about 6'3", 6'4". Good body puncher, good timing, good counters. Interesting test for Anderson. I miss Conor Benn fights. I liked his style. But the guy's just a prick. I'm hoping to fight this year if possible, taking it one step at a time, though, since I don't know if it's realistic. That's the best way to be Nordic. Have you sparred yet, Nordic? Have you sparred yet? You look what I saw your latest training video, the pads video. You look like you lost weight since you first started to upload training footage again. Yeah, I'm not a fan of weightlifting either. Have been trying it a bit lately for strength and conditioning. I don't think you can beat running though for cardio, right? Oh, it's Tyne Booth being cancelled again. What's he said? Curtis is charging 20 quid a month for horse racing tips that are losing. Yeah, good on you, Nordic man. As I said, bro, like when you first went back to the gym and first uploaded that training video, you look like you've lost weight since then. You're looking more trim, man. Good on you, man. Yoda, how can someone strengthen their jab hand? I've been told my right hand has got great pop, but my jab is quick and snappy, but with not much power. I guess you could use resistance bands, right? Use a resistance band and throw the jab while holding the band. Shadow box with like small weights, like hand weights, egg weights, maybe, as Deontay Wilder would claim. Maybe shadow box with like small weights, like small little weights. By the way, this is a weird thing, right? I've been like, it's hard. This is really hard to explain, and I'm probably not going to explain it well. So again, I've been trying to like stay in, like tick over, and I've been doing basic shit. So running 2 or 3 times a week, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, planking, a bit of shadow boxing. Am I feel faster, like shadow boxing. I kind of record myself and have a look at it. When I shadow box, I don't feel fast, right? But when I like in the past when I was at the gym, when I've actually sparred and when I like hit the bag and things like that, I feel faster. That sounds really weird, but I don't feel like I can be quick in shadow box. That sounds really weird. No, I never knew that. Yeah, I'm hoping the Lomachenko Haney fight delivers. You know how boxing, you know how shit boxing's been though. When I kid you not, I was genuinely looking forward to that Wings of Redemption fight. That's how shit boxing's been. That's a good shout. Yeah, stairs. Yeah, I've been using stairs for cardio. I work in tower blocks and use them for training. Why not, man? Yeah, I was watching a video with like boxers' predictions, and there's quite a few fighters going for Lomachenko. Like, one of the Charlo brothers went for Lomachenko. I think it was Jamal, maybe. No, Jamel. I think it was Jamel. Do you know what else I've been doing as well? So my bathroom has like an electric heater in there, kind of thing. And what I do is I put the heater on. Not good for the electric bill. I get it. I put the heater on, shut the door in there, let it get really, really warm, and I'll go in there and shadow box like in a super warm room. I don't really watch him, bro. He seems like a nice guy, but I just don't watch him. Mate, I've watched that fight back like 4 times. I'm mesmerized by it. Boogie was a disgrace, by the way. Boogie was an absolute disgrace. Turning away from punches. I don't think he threw a punch. At least Wings went for it. Fair play to him. He actually was there to fight, I guess. But Boogie, man, Boogie laid an egg. Boogie laid an egg. See, that's it. Like that is one circumstance where, like, hear me out. Something like quote unquote influencer boxing could work because I would like to see nothing more than like a Wings of Redemption, for example. Take that fight. He falls in love with boxing. He continues boxing. He loses weight. He fights again. That's where something like influencer boxing can actually be kind of cool. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But that's where it could be pretty cool. But I don't really care about it either way, to be honest with you. I don't get like the big outrage about influencer boxing. There's always been like boxing's always had these sort of things, celebrity deathmatch way back when, exhibitions way back when with Ali, etc., Joe Lewis. This sort of stuff's always happened. The only issue I really had with it was when they was conflating pro boxing and influencer boxing. So when you had real pro fighters on these cards, that's when I had a problem with it. Aside from that, man, if they do their own thing, I don't really care. I don't really care. Boxing's got bigger problems than us moaning about like 400-pound guys fighting. Do you know what I mean? We saw that this past weekend with Rolly Romero. Absolute disgraceful stoppage. That is the worst stoppage I've ever seen. That's not hyperbole. Worst stoppage I've ever seen. Absolutely dreadful. I felt so bad for Barroso as well because Barroso's a guy who actually had a bit of talents back in the day, but he turned pro in like 2005, Ishmael Barroso, and he's only had like 28 fights, something like that, in nearly 20 years. He turned pro in 2005. He's had shit promoters, always been the B side, coming from Venezuela, the slums, never really had anything given to him. He's kind of been there or thereabouts, lost to Crawler, came back with a couple of wins, lost a couple more, kind of got himself back in a ranking position. He gets a fight. Fair enough. It was very fortunate considering Puelo tested positive, but he gets a world title fight at 40 years old. This is a guy who's not really earned any money in his career, I'd imagine. He's beating Rolly Romero clearly, drops him out, boxing him, etc. And then he gets stopped like that. 40 years old. He's never going to get that chance again. If he won that world title, he could have probably made some good money. And it made it worse actually as well. I didn't realize that Ishmael Barroso, his wife, when a day before one of his fights, the day of a weigh-in, he literally got a call at the weigh-in saying that his wife was kidnapped in Venezuela and murdered, and he still fought and knocked the guy out. And the guy's gone through all that to get fucked like that. It's kind of that's fucked in itself. I felt for listen. I don't usually, when it comes to fighters, I don't really care, to be honest. I don't pocket watch and things of that nature. Ultimately, I see these guys as they are here for our entertainment. We are the consumers. But in that case, Bro, I kind of felt really bad for him. I can't lie. I felt really bad for him. Scott Harrison told me he thinks Lomachenko will batter Haney. I think Haney spoils his way to a decision. Mm. How's Vermeth going? Pretty good, Ruff. Pretty good. I'm doing good, Heisensberg. Yes, sir. Wings battered him. He did indeed. Yeah, and the weekend after is really good as well. Yeah, Lopez versus Conlon, Lara versus Wood too. Good weekend. Really good weekend of fights. Got a couple of good weeks coming up. Who do you think Martin Bakole should fight next? Dillian White. That's what I want to see. DMD. Yeah, Boogie was a disgrace. For somebody who was 400 pounds, Wings was actually kind of fast and athletic. That fight was internet history. Indeed. Listen, he did what he had to do, right? Thoughts on KSI's elbow? Beautiful, beautiful fucking Muay Thai elbow. Maybe he's in the wrong sport, but yeah, it was a disgrace. I didn't see the fight, but I saw the knockout. Wings could be Fury's next opponent. His hardcore fans would love it. Yeah, yeah. Ben Shalom's a clown, no doubt. Facts. Yeah, I don't really know much about this Boogie guy. I know he's been around a long time, but I wasn't really following his like. I've never followed him. I know who Wings of Redemption is because of like the troll videos. Indeed, he did. Yeah, yeah. Freak show fights have been a long have long been since a guilty pleasure of mine ever since the Charlie Zelenov, Andrew Hartley days. Yeah, Andrew Hartley days. Yeah, facts. And it's interesting as well. So Nordic, hypothetically, if you was offered, I don't know, 10 grand, 10 grand to fight on like an influencer undercard, would you do it? I think a lot of people would do it, right? Honestly, I'm undecided if I do it. I'd see how I feel in the gym, but who are you talking about? Sly tendencies. Elaborate, bro. I don't know who you're talking about. Daniel Dubois is now training under Don Charles right now. Ah, that's an interesting one. I saw this news earlier. I know Don Charles doesn't have the best reputation. I actually think he may be a decent fit for Daniel Dubois. Dubois strikes me as the type of fighter, type of person who needs an arm around his shoulder, and that's the sort of guy Don Charles is. He's a guy who builds close rapports with his fighters, as we saw with Chisora, and he's going to get 100% attention with Don Charles. I actually think that may be a good move for him, believe it or not. Maybe not so much on the technical side, but I don't know about that. That could be decent for him. Osama bin Laden was a tall, rangy guy, you know. Bin Laden was tall and rangy. Plus, he had like I don't know, man. Like Prime Hitler fought in World War One. Obama fought against the Soviets in the 80s. These are two bona fide fighters. You may favor Bin Laden's height and reach. I don't know. Can Hitler collapse the pocket? Yeah, we need more retrospective videos from Nordic Facts. What I'm trying to do with boxing though, and how I'm trying to change things right now is I just need more structure. I need more structure because right now, well, prior to these last few, I'm better than I'm trying to implement things slowly. So I am exercising now, like I said, just slight bits. But I got into the habit of like I do 5 days of work. Sorry, 5 days a week at work. I work a couple days from home. But like I found myself after work not really doing much aside from YouTube on the other channel, and even this channel to a lesser degree. I need to, and then at the same time, I was then wasting time. I need to be more productive with my time, and I need to set a schedule that I stick to religiously. Hence why I'm trying to implement boxing into my life and exercise. And I'm trying to utilize my free time as best as possible, not as much wronging around and procrastinating. Gonna try and get it. Gonna try and get it. I don't think Wilder will fight Usyk. I know he's going to get made Mando if Dubois pulls out, but Wilder's in talks to fight AJ. He's not going to fight Usyk instead of AJ. There's more money in AJ. I'd be surprised if Wilder fights Usyk. Yeah, indeed. I felt really bad for Barroso. I felt really bad for him because I never knew that about his wife being kidnapped and murdered. And that was on like the day or yeah, the day of a weigh-in on one of his fights. Because I remember when he came over and he destroyed fucking Kevin Mitchell. And I thought he was gonna beat Crawler, I can't lie. I thought he was gonna beat Crawler. That fight was odd looking at it, man. That fight was so odd how he gassed out so quickly. Do you think there could have been a few, games in regards to that fight? I don't know. I don't know. What's up, bro? J7. I was wondering when he'll do another live. Hope everything is all good. That dude has to be older than 40. Yeah, he looks it. But he's had a hard life, right? Coming from like Venezuela and probably, fighting through God knows what. I believe stress ages us mentally, physically, spiritually. Stress ages us, no doubt. That's another thing as well. Why I'm trying to implement like boxing back into my life because it gives me less time to procrastinate about certain things. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Rowley has marketing privilege. Yeah, even though he fucking sucks. Wings chins Fury in two. Despite being morbidly obese and flabby, Wings looked like he actually did train boxing a bit. Boogie looked like he had never exercised once, just all dead weight. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'd love to be a champion in freak show boxing. If I was offered, I'd probably carefully analyze who I'd be fighting. I would like to go the cherry pick route. I would want to fight a scrub first fight, like somebody who I want to know how I feel under the lights in front of people because that'll be a different proposition, right? That'll be a different proposition. Because I think all you've got to do really to like come out of it with respect is win one fight. And if you then lose a fight, like you can kind of say, well, I did something that not many people have done or wouldn't do because they'll be too scared of getting embarrassed. Shit. So I've quit booze as well. Like booze is completely quit now. All I need to do now is quit smoking. Yeah, so that'll be the next logical step. However, I don't think it will happen because Wilder's in talks with AJ for December, and there's a lot more money in that fight. The Saudis don't want Usyk versus Wilder. The Saudis want Wilder AJ and Usyk Fury. Even if they order that Usyk Wilder fight, I don't think Wilder takes it. I think he takes the AJ fight personally. I know, right? How do you think Andrew Tate would have done in boxing? In all seriousness, not well. Not well. He was. If you look at his kickboxing style, he's very awkward. He's very herky jerky, hands down. Um, I don't think he wouldn't transition to boxing well. He wouldn't transition to boxing well. He'd beat a lot of YouTubers, but even would he beat KSI? He wouldn't beat Jake Paul. I'll tell you that much. Oh, okay. So Ty and Booth's getting cancelled. Okay, for saying about minors. Okay, I'll have to look what he said. Yeah, I've got another channel, Disturbed Reality, my good sir. Yeah, that's another thing about Andrew Tate. He was a kickboxing world champion, quote unquote, but he fought in like minor C tier organizations. He never fought in like Glory or K1, the two main organizations. So basically, him being called a world champion is like winning a MMA title in not even Bellator or One or PFL. It's like some lower version of like an MMA promotion, like a real low level MMA promotion. Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, yeah, that was it. He knocked out Mitchell with a jab. Yeah, that is the best fight for John Jones, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of his fight with Stipe. Stipe's done. I'd rather see him fight Sergey Pavlovich as well. Yeah, Crawler's performance was surprising. He never looked that powerful before or since that fight. Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? What's up, big boys? Big boys boxing. We rescored Loma Ortiz on Discord last night, and there is no way Haney can win a fight at Haney's pace. Sorry, at Loma's pace. I agree. I agree with that. By the way, yeah. If Lomachenko can set the pace early on, and Haney can't disrupt that, or he's not allowed to disrupt that by the referee, he could be in trouble. Again, I'll say it again. I think this fight, a lot of this fight is going to come down to how the referee officiates it. I really do believe that. I've said that since day one. Good man, Nordic. I mean, maybe, but boxing doesn't work like that. He is part of the undisputed equation, right? John Fury's an arse clown. Never thought the day would come where I'd see O'Hara Davis crowned champion, but he would genuinely decimate Rowley if a fight got made. I agree. I agree. That could be a good little redemption arc for O'Hara Davis if he could knock out Rolly Romero. That's a good little redemption arc because O'Hara is what he is. O'Hara Davis is a good domestic fighter with above domestic power. That's what he is. But I think that's enough to beat Rolly Romero. I really do. Let's go, champ. Yeah, same. I don't touch alcohol these days. I never really drunk much before, but I would drink on the weekends, kind of thing. And ever so occasionally, I'd buy like a couple beers in a week. But yeah, I've just knocked it all on the head now. I agree, Henry. Yeah, Uncle Al paid Tony Weeks to rob Ishmael Barroso. In my opinion, yeah, I agree. Barroso, a 45-year-old Venezuelan who ain't exactly living on the high on the hog. I agree. Let's go. Have you ever heard of King of the Ring on YouTube? It's like street beefs in the UK. I would get on some shit like that, laugh out loud. I doubt they pay you though, man. I'm not doing it for free. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's not great, bro. Yeah, he is unorthodox. Yeah. What's up, Randy Orton? How you doing? Did you see Michael Hunter versus Hashim Rahman Jr. in that weird team combat league? No, I didn't. I didn't see it. When was that? I never saw it. I know. I don't. I disagree, Shannon. Shannon Buchanan. I disagree. His chin is so high in the air, Andrew Tate. Even when he like does the pads, I know that's his kickboxing style, but he's going to naturally use that in boxing. Yeah, some of those street beef fights are great. The officiating is sometimes better than pro boxing. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, is Ben Davison still the primary trainer for Lee Wood? Yes, he is. He needs to consider leaving him backstage in the rematch. I know, right? I still think that was a bad stoppage, but that's just me. That's just me. I will say, though, I've criticised Ben Davison a lot, but he's genuinely done a good job with Lee Wood. I can't lie. Yeah, he's a bell end, yeah. Do you think Ben Shalom has been stitched up by 258 and possibly Eddie? The fact they lobbied for the fight without letting Ben know. I don't know, man. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think he just got worried he'd lose a purse bid, man. I don't know. Calzaghe won 116, 112, 117, 111, that sort of decision. Otke would be tricky. The guard would be hard to penetrate, but Calzaghe will just outwork. And while every shot's not going to get through, he's still going to outwork Sven Otke. Otke will land good singles, good jabs, good counters, but Calzaghe outworks him, in my opinion. Yeah. Exactly, Brandon. Josh Taylor, a bigger favourite with the bookies as everyday passes, closer to the fight. Interesting. Yeah, I was looking at Taylor's training footage. He looks in relatively good shape already, which is good. Haney is boring to watch, yeah, facts. If John is going to retire, then the UFC really needs someone like Aspinall to get the title. I don't know, man. I don't think Aspinall's skilled, but we'll see how he comes back from the injury. I like that MMA guru guy, by the way. I think he's funny as fuck. I think that guy's so fucking funny. Oh, thank you, Sly Tendencies, by the way. This never showed up on StreamYard. Usually it comes up and it starred itself. That's weird. Sorry, can you break down Taylor versus Teofimo, a prediction? Yeah, I'll probably do it in a video format. Sly Tendencies. I'll probably make a video for that fight. I plan on making one for Lomachenko Haney, but it's whether I get time. But yeah, I should make a prediction for that fight. I'm looking forward to that fight more than Lomachenko Haney. I can't lie. But thank you, man. Big up to yourself, Sly Tendencies. Big up to yourself. Thank you very much. Rolly Romero versus Subriel Matias. I'd love to see it. We know how that fight's going. John Fury, similar to Lenny McLean, a self-hyped, self-proclaimed hard man who was the self-proclaimed king of the cobbles. Yeah. No, he'd be more of an area level. He's more of an area level, but Rolly Romero is like domestic level, in my opinion. All he is really, he's a strong kid who has a bit of power. Not officially scheduled, but Top Rank won the purse bids, so it should be getting made soon. I think Callum Smith is very dangerous in that fight due to Beterbiev's age. It's whether Beterbiev can close the distance, get past that long right hand and left hook of Callum, and then get to the inside. If Beterbiev can stay on the inside for prolonged periods of time, he will have a lot of success against Callum because Callum can't fight on the inside that well. He can't. We saw that against Ryder. He can't fight on the inside that well. So if Beterbiev stays on the inside for a prolonged period of time, I think he'll grind him down. But there's a lot of danger getting there. I'm going to Nottingham next Wednesday. I'm going for about a week. Going to that Wood versus Lara rematch on Saturday. Yeah, try and get some footage. Catterall. Foley's a good sort of domestic guy, but Catterall should win. It's not officially scheduled yet, but Top Rank are looking to stage it in Montreal. Good. we have King of the Ring tournament here in New Zealand every year. It's a tournament, 33 round fights, each in one night. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening to Hunter, bro. It's a shame because I actually really liked Hunter at one point in time. Then the Hrgovic stuff happened, and yeah, he's kind of paying for it now, right? He's paying for it now. I bet he regrets that now, especially considering Hrgovic in his next fight didn't look good. Andrew Tate would be dangerous from long range. Maybe he is kind of tall and rangy, but I don't think in a boxing sense he'd do that well. Fuck that. Yeah, fuck that shit. Yeah, they have similar-ish types of styles in regards to striking. No way. A team format of boxing, no, that's not going to be successful. It's just a gimmick, isn't it? You know. Yeah, a wasted career. I agree. I'm the same. I favour Lara again to find that shots, but you know, we saw that Wood had the boxing skills to give Lara a lot of trouble. Had the height and reach, the jab, decent enough power to keep Lara honest for big portions of that fight. Lee Wood can win, but I just favour Lara. You know, once you've been knocked out like that and you come back right away, it usually ends the same way the second time. There have been exceptions like Kovalev versus Elidia Alvarez, but usually the guy who got knocked out is going to get beat again. That's Arsenal for you, bro. That's Arsenal for you. I wasn't really surprised, to be honest. Andrew Tate doesn't have the agility to work a lean back style, yet he keeps his chin way too high. You got to be quick to make a counter, and pull style work well. Prince Nazim owned that style. I agree. Yeah, like when he was younger, he could probably pull it off in kickboxing. But how old is Andrew Tate? What's that? How old is he? 35, 36? And he's not been fighting in recent years, has he? So I don't think anybody. No, I mean, I don't think his career's going anywhere, bro. I don't think he's going to go to Matchroom. I mean, what's the point? What's the point? I don't think he's interesting. I like him as a person. He seems like a nice guy, but I don't think he's an interesting fighter. He's not exactly a needle mover. Not a great style. I don't think he will, bro. No. I think he'll get found out before he gets to he won't get to world level, put it that way. And I think he'll lose once and retire. One of those guys. Taylor seems to have calmed down a bit. Most interviews these days, he seems wound up. Yeah, I like the partnership with Joe McNally. I think that's a good partnership because McNally tends to like those sort of aggressive fighters like Liam Smith. He's done a really good job with Liam Smith, actually. He's given Liam Smith a new lease of life. So I think that's a good fit for him. I really do. I really do. I know Joe McNally's not really a household name right now, but every time I've heard that guy speak in the corner, he's always kind of impressed me. He always comes across well. Simple instructions, doesn't overcomplicate things. I quite like him. I agree. Yeah, Calzaghe's output is a problem for many like all-time super middleweights, like heavyweights. I agree. I've always wanted to be in a white collar fight, but they usually put you in with a pro faking to be a novice. I know, right? I've picked your picks a few times and made some money, laugh out loud. Well, that's good. That's good, man. Yeah, my picks, listen, I don't get them all right. I don't think I'm like one of the worst predictors on the YTBC, but I'll get a fair few wrong, but I'll get some decent ones right. That's one thing people don't really do anymore. Back in the day on YouTube, when it comes to boxing, people would make prediction videos. People don't really do that now. I like doing them when I get time. Oh yeah, Catterall beats Rowley. Honestly, Ritson though, I'm not so sure these days. Yeah, Catterall would school Rowley. That's a good fight, you know. Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. It's a good fight. Because if Conor McGregor is going to be anybody of consequence, it could be Chandler, given how like reckless Chandler fights and how he gasses as well, Chandler. So Conor's actually got a chance in that fight. But still, I would favour Chandler, given how Conor's looked recently. It's a good fight, though. Yeah, Rolly Romero started his amateur career when he was 18. Not surprising. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, considering that, he's done well, I guess. But I'm planning to teach my little brother to box. He's competing in MMA. Yeah, at least he's not going to be a noob either. If you manage to teach him how to box, he must know the basics now. Yeah, Big John showed that he's not really about it at that Misfits event. Tommy got into an altercation with another Love Island boxer in the crowd, and John didn't even stand up until security arrived. Yeah, the guy just he is what he is, man. He's one of those guys who just likes the sound of his own voice. Do you know what I mean? He's an empty vessel, I would say. I think he's one of those guys to me who seems very opportunistic in regards to like the beefs he gets in. As we saw when he got arrested, like fucking gouging a man's eye out who was like half his size, a lot fucking older, like an old man. That's John Fury. Do you think John Fury is going to fight a guy his size who's not going to back down? Probably not. Nah, not really. Not really. Not really, bro. I think you sound younger than your age. I suppose that's a good thing. I guess so, right? Looking younger than your age is better though, right? Yeah, I know, right? Calzaghe lost to Robin Reed. I felt he beat Robin Reed, to be honest. It was a close fight, but I felt he beat Robin Reed. I've not seen that fight in a long time though. What's up, Ian? How you doing? Um, would have loved to have seen Kovalev Stevenson. Yeah, we got robbed of that fight, man. Would have been a great fight. I'd have favoured Kovalev. Kovalev was the much better natural boxer, much more skilled. But Stevenson had that touch of death, which was legitimate. His power was real, and he was awkward as well. Surprisingly quick feet, and one of those guys who can lull you into a false sense of security. Because he wasn't the tallest light heavyweight, Stevenson, but he had ridiculously long arms. So when you thought you was out of range, you weren't quite out of range enough, and he could spring with that left hand and catch you. He was an interesting fighter, Stevenson. He was a one-trick pony, but that one trick worked so well. He's somebody I couldn't stand, but I couldn't stand Stevenson for obvious reasons. But as a fighter, I thought he was really good. I can't lie. I actually thought he was really good. And he's a guy who we never got to see him in the best fights because he fucked around for years. He fucked around for years. And when he was in his 40s, like he drew to Badu Jack when he was way past his best, and he gave Vodzik a good fight before getting cabbaged at 41. So if this guy actually stepped up when he was supposed to, who knows what he would have done? Who knows what he would have done? Considering he gave Vodzik that hard of a fight when he was 41. But there you go. Honestly, I don't think Povetkin could have ever made cruiserweight. He's just too thick. I think he'd have been really depleting himself if he were to do that, honestly. John Fury only acts tough with featherweights, basically. I agree. I'd have favoured Kovalev, but listen, Stevenson would have had a real punchless chance in that fight. Facts. Heisensberg, facts. So ironic that Stevenson had the touch of death himself, yet he got made brain dead by the Ukrainian in brutal fashion. Yeah, he did. He did, man. Maybe that's karma. I mean, I don't believe in karma personally, but I mean, if you do, I guess that's karma. I don't believe in karma and all that juju shit. To be honest, God will judge us. In my opinion, God will judge us. What's up, bro? You said on the on your post-fight review, if they paid you, you'd do an influencer boxing match. I'm not sure if it's cap, but I swear I'd pay to donate to your camp. Who on the YTBC would you match with? I wouldn't be looking at fighting a YTBC person. I'd be looking at doing it with the other channel, calling out some random people because I'll probably get fed a scrub. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Stevenson was Froch's Mando for a while. Was it with the IBF, maybe? I forget what title it was for. May have been for the IBF. I think it was the IBF. yeah, Dillian White called John Fury Steve Bunce. But yeah, he knew he couldn't fuck with Dillian. Yeah, exactly. Froch would have chinned Stevenson and De Gale at the same time in front of 80,000 at Wembley. I think he would have beaten James De Gale. I think De Gale would have started really well, would have won the early rounds, or most of the early rounds, and then Froch would have ground him down, probably dropped him to win on points. Because De Gale faded in most of his fights. And I think that's where Froch would catch up and probably sneak ahead. I think he'd beat De Gale. Stevenson, bro, Froch had a great chin, but Stevenson could fucking crack. I think Stevenson beats Kyle Froch. I think he knocks him out. How about that? I think he'd have knocked out Kyle Froch. Kyle Froch's only saving grace at the time, in regards to not taking that fight, was that he took the Mikhail Kessler fight instead. At the time, Kessler was a more regarded guy, even though he was starting to be on the slide. Kessler was higher regarded, so can you call it a duck? I mean, you can if you want, right? But Kessler was viewed as the better fight. You can, I mean, but people in boxing knew Stevenson was dangerous. I'll try and do it, bro, but it's time. It's time. If I don't do it, I'll just reveal my prediction on a community post or something. Or a mate, or yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, facts, Nordic, facts. Yeah, I'm hoping Loma just starts from round one. I hope he starts from round one, leaves no stone unturned. I don't want to hear about this downloading data, you know. Don't want to hear about it. I want to see him start from round one. Go for the gusto, try and collapse that pocket and work. Because Devin can't fight on the inside, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Devin has no inside game whatsoever. His inside game is holding. His inside game is fouling. Yeah, he did, man. He got fucked up. Honestly, all things considered, I felt Vodzik looked okay. He looked a little rusty at times. Don't get me wrong, his reactions weren't quite there like they used to be, but he's been out for 3 years. Bolotnik's is a European level guy, so not a scrub. And he got him out of there. So like all things considered, I felt he looked okay. He looked solid. Not as dynamic as he once was. Is that the age? Is that the inactivity? We'll see. But I think it was a good fight for him on his comeback. And he's certainly an interesting addition to the light heavyweight division. He's certainly an interesting addition. We'll see what he does next. See, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight someone like Anthony Yard or Buatsi. In fact, I really like the thought of Vodsik versus Yard. I think that's a good fight. Because it's winnable for Yard because Vodsik, I don't think Vodsik's ever going to be what he was, but he's still dangerous. It's still somewhat credible. And Vodsik could give Yard a lot of trouble, maybe even beat him. What are some good fights for George Kambosos if he beats Maxi Hughes? I still believe he can deliver us good fights. What's that, a lightweight? If it's at lightweight, I mean, I don't think, honestly, bro, I don't think he can beat anybody of consequence in the division. I really don't. I think the TO fight was a one and done. I don't think he'll beat anybody of consequence. Even like a Frank Martin, I don't think he'll beat Frank Martin. If I was top rank, what I'd be looking at doing, if Kambosos wins, I'd be trying to get Kambosos in there with Keyshawn Davis, because that'll be good matchmaking. Former world champion, but very beatable. And I think Keyshawn beats him as well. Golovkin on points. Even at 160 out, I'd say Golovkin on points. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I take Vodsik over Buatsi. Yard, I'm not so sure. I think Yard's definitely got better. Honestly, Vodsik is a really good fight for him because Vodsik was a former world-class fighter, world champion. Probably he's not at the level he once was, but he's still good. He's still really dangerous. I think a Vodsik fight would tell us a lot where Yard is truly at. What's up, Lee? How you doing, bro? Isaac Cruz beats him. Isaac Cruz beats him. Isaac Cruz is too relentless, too strong. I think he outworks Kambosos. Probably doesn't stop him, but I think he outworks him. Nordic versus John Fury exhibition. I'd love to see it. He fought relatively recently in where did he fight? Like Armenia or Albania, somewhere like that. He fought somewhere recently and he knocked out Mike Balogun in like a round. So he's still fighting, but he's treading water, which is unfortunate because I felt he could do something in the heavyweight division, but I've lost that faith now. I can't lie. I'm losing that faith rapidly. Yeah, he fought another bum, basically, as Heisensberg said. Yeah, but I always felt he could do something at heavyweight. I always felt he could do something at heavyweight, man. Because his power is real. His power is real. I always go back to a Chris Arreola interview. And this was after Arreola fought Wilder, Vitali. He fought some good guys by this point in time. And he said the hardest he'd ever been hit was by Gassiev in sparring. Because Gassiev cut a lot of weight to make cruiserweight. So at heavyweight, he's going to be stronger, he's going to be fresher, and he's going to be hitting harder. Gassiev, in my opinion, can knock out legitimate heavyweights. I think he can. But yeah, man, it's a shame. And have you noticed as well, Gassiev has changed his nationality to Armenian. So he fought in Armenia last time. He fought in Armenia in his last fight. I guess that's to get around like the sanctioning bodies, like boycotting him and banning him. That's another good fight for Vasyl on his comeback. Yeah, Vasyl versus Joe Smith. Good fight. Top 3 fights this year so far. Fucking hell, I don't really remember. I did enjoy, I can't lie, I really enjoyed the Kayla Plant Benavidez fight. I enjoyed that fight. I enjoyed Lara Wood 1. I can't think of many fights, bro. I just can't think of many. I can't think of many. What other fights have happened this year? I don't even know. Yeah, Wingsby Boogie's number 1. Gassiev knocks him out. I think he takes out Chisora. It'll probably take him a few rounds, but mid-rounds maybe. I think Haney beats Lomachenko on points, and Nakatani beats Maloney too. I agree. Nakatani beats Maloney. Haney, Lomachenko, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I've not seen the Akhmedov versus Sims fight. Oh yeah, Cordina Rakhimov was really good. That was a really good fight. That might be the best fight this year. That might actually be the best fight so far this year in terms of like just action. That was a really good fight. Boogie would still beat Trevor Bryan. No idea, bro. No idea. He's made a name for himself by talking about Ryan Garcia. So we'll see. Mongolians, you know, they should be good fighters, right? They should be good fighters. So maybe he's good. Maybe he's good. Maybe he's good. We'll see. I think he's been sparring a lot of top fighters, though. I'm pretty sure he sparred Ryan Garcia. I think he sparred Devin Haney as well. So he's getting in good camps. So he must be decent. He must be decent. Oh yeah, I agree, bro. IFL's been shit for a long time. There's not any good boxing publications, like interview channels. None of them are good. None of them are good. What's crazy to me is that most people overseas believe Lomachenko will win, but stateside, we all know that Haney will win. I don't know, man. I see a lot of people second guessing it. Like I was saying earlier, I saw like Vasyl Ortiz, he's picking Loma. One of the Charlo brothers is picking Loma. There's people out there picking Lomachenko. They are saying Wilder and Usyk are in talks now that Dubois pulled out. I don't think it will happen. Again, I think Wilder's going to stay. He'll try and get the AJ fight, I would have thought. Who do I think Fury fights next? A bum. I think he fights a bum. He's not fighting Andy Ruiz, which I'm kind of glad about, to be honest. I don't think he'll fight Zili Zhang, sorry. Ortiz Stanionis, yeah, that fight's got fireworks written all over it. That fight's got fireworks written all over it. 2 unbeaten welterweights, both guys can crack. Vasyl, of course, 100% knockout ratio. He brings that pressure. He brings the output. Really, really puts it on his opponents. But Stanionis is he's very calculated. He's got a really good jab. He's got good timing. He's the guy who does the basics very well with decent power. So he can walk Ortiz onto good shots, use that aggression against him. I favour Ortiz, but it's a big test. And Ortiz has been out a long time. He's been very inactive. So making that weight with this illness, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not calling it, But would I be shocked if there's an upset? Not really. I am picking. Don't get me wrong. I am picking Ortiz to win, but it wouldn't shock me if there was an upset. But it's a good fight. Hopefully it happens, bro, because that fight's been called off 3 times now. If AJ's mindset changes and approaches the fight correctly, I think he finishes a one-dimensional Deontay Wilder. Yeah, he can. He can beat Wilder. He's got the tools to beat Wilder. It's whether he gets it right on the night. That's the question. I don't think Wilder would go in there like questioning himself. He'll do what Wilder does. And against an AJ that questions himself constantly, I think that's all Wilder needs, personally. I think Wilder would be more likely to pull the trigger first against AJ, and that could be key. Yard Beterbiev was another great fight. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Yard Beterbiev, Benavidez Plants. Yeah, Zhang Joyce was good. But yeah, I'd say Cordina versus Rakhimov might be my favorite. Fury Caballel, wouldn't be surprised. Again, I think the refereeing is going to be very important in that fight. Oh, by the way, sorry, Toby, I missed your comment. I think Rolly Romero. Sorry, I think O'Hara Davis knocks out Rolly. Okoli versus David Light was a cracker. Had me on the edge of my seat. Fucking hell. One of those fighters, Henry, who is too dangerous for a lot of prospects, and he makes you look bad even if you win. So yeah, he never got any fights after that. Shame. I agree, man. I think it's a very dangerous fight. And it's a really good fight as well. 2 young prime welterweights going at it. Or maybe not even prime yet in Ortiz's case. Fair enough, J7. Yeah, he seems like a nice kid, Virgil Ortiz. He seems like a nice kid. I'm not really a fan. Well, I'm not a fan of AJ or Fury, to be real. I'm not a fan of either. I don't really care either way. Okay, so we'll know tomorrow who the ref's going to be for Loma Haney. It's going to be one of the usual suspects, right? It's going to be one of the usual suspects. Have you noticed, though, like, a guy like Steve Willis, who in my opinion is the best referee in America, he never gets these mega fights. There's a reason for that. I don't see Steve Willis make many mistakes. I don't see Steve Willis make many mistakes at all. His stoppages are usually bang on, not too early, not too late. I think he lets the fights flow pretty well. But he never gets these big fights. It's always for regular guys. You know, the usual suspects. Your Tony Weeks, your Kenny Baylesses, you know, Jack Reese now and again. These sort of guys. But hopefully, listen, I'd love it to be Steve Willis. I think that would be a perfect referee. I guess he's not like part of the old boys club, you know? Yeah, I mean, his reactions when like fighters are fucking each other up is priceless. He's like a fan who's getting to referee a fight. You know what I mean? But he doesn't get the big fights. He gets like mid-tier fights, like, you know, mid-level fights or fights that are not of consequence or not like mainstream fights. But he always does a good job from what I've seen. Yeah, I'm sure he's made a mistake here and there. Fair enough, but like, I don't see a constant pattern of egregious like bullshit decisions or bullshit calls. I don't think it will be him. I can't see it. I just cannot see it. I think they'll hide him for a little while. They'll hide him for a couple of months. He's not going to be seen for a while. Really wouldn't surprise me if Kenny Limpleg Bayliss was the referee for Haney Loma. That's what I'm saying, man. If you look at these referees, bro, a lot of these guys can't even move around the ring. You know what I mean? They're sloppy, they're fat, they're out of shape. Terrible, old as fuck. Which isn't a problem if you're fit and you can keep up. But a lot of these guys are fucking in terrible shape. They're out of position. That's another thing when it comes to these modern refs. A lot of these guys are out of shape. Or too old, decrepit. He is, yeah, he's old as fuck. He's old as fuck. Yeah, if Bayliss is for ref, bet the house on Haney. Probably the best shout, yeah. Yeah, Tony Weeks works for PBC Showtime, not ESPN, so he'll not be doing Haney versus Loma. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, there's no like board of review like for these referees, man. Like constant mistakes, you know. Then you know they should be investigated. They should. None of this happens though. They should be investigated, or because if it's incompetence, right, they should be put on courses, relegated for a while. But we know it's not incompetence. It's fucking corruption. It's corruption. Because if it was just pure incompetence, you'd think that boxing would have things in place to where referees' performances are reviewed and scrutinized, and the commissions would act accordingly. You know, like I say, additional training, relegating them to lower level fights, maybe amateur fights. None of this happens, man. It's the same old guys every fucking year, year on year on year. It's absolute nonsense. Honestly, JD, I can't think of one. I can't think of a good British referee. No, personally. I think Nick Ball is too small. I think Ray just outboxes him, personally. I need to see what he said. Apparently this guy's got himself in a controversy, so I need to see what he said. But if he's talking about minors, then that's too far. I think there are very few areas in comedy that are too far, but I think that's one of them. Yeah, we know the score. We know the score. We know the score. That's what I was saying, Kyle, as well. I was saying this on the last stream in regards to like the political side of things. Not only is there the whole Ukraine thing as well, it's Haney's last fight with Top Rank. It's Haney's last fight with Top Rank. So if Bob knows he's leaving after this fight, then maybe he tries to ensure that Lomachenko has a bit more protection than he'd usually get. Do you know what I mean? Because if he knows Haney is leaving, I'm sure Bob would rather Loma win so he can then fight Shakur, which is a big fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they robbed Ismael Barroso, a man who didn't have shit to begin with anyway, says everything you need to know. Yep. And he's got no means of challenging it. He's got no social media platform, you know. He can't do shit, Ismael Barroso. He's got no money to challenge it. Yeah, the guy's a clown, honestly. Absolute clown. Disgrace to boxing. Howard Foster's bad. Marcus McDonnell is bad. I think Steve Gray's bad as well, bro. I can't lie. Oh shit. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot then. Oh, Makhmadov versus Anderson. Oh. It's kind of hard to judge both guys right now, man. Like, Makhmadov is what, 32, 33 years old, man? Again, he's too inactive. He's not fighting enough, and he's not stepping up. So, I don't know, man. I'd probably favour Anderson, honestly. I'd probably favour Anderson just due to speed. I saw that. Yeah, I saw the knockout. That's about his level, JD05. That's about his level, Ian John Lewis. Yeah, bro. Chisora is like every event, man. Chisora fucking, he's there. Every single event in the UK, he's hanging around like a bad smell in the background. Weird, man. Weird guy. Oh yeah, Mark Lyson is decent. He is actually pretty decent. I don't think he gets any big fights like Steve Willis in America. What, I don't remember Mark Lyson refereeing a big fight. Exactly, yeah. I mean, he fights bums. Yeah, exactly. He's got power. He's a big puncher. But you know, I've known about this guy for a while now. Like 2018, probably. Yeah, maybe 2018. I first started watching him, and he's not shown me anything in that time since. Do you know what I mean? There's that as well, though. Yeah, exactly. Who's Anderson beaten? Exactly. Both guys at the end of the day are very unproven. Both guys are very unproven, but I'll give more grace to the guy who's, how old's Anderson? 24, maybe? Whereas Makhmedov is what, 32, 33? And when a 32, 33-year-old hasn't been stepped up like that, I do start to question, is there something there that we don't know about? Maybe a chin deficiency or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong. I think he is. Yeah, Rolly Romero's probably the worst champion I've ever seen. He's worse than Charles Martin. I think he's worse pound for pound than Charles Martin. I really do. Charles Martin's bad, but there's a little bit of skill there. There's a little bit of trickiness how he sets up that left hand. But Rolly is so fucking bad. And at 140, who does he beat? Who does he beat? There's many guys outside the top 10 who beat Rolly, like O'Hara Davis, for example. Yeah, he didn't look as good in that fight as I thought he would. I was expecting a bit more from him in that fight. I know Takam has a very good chin, but I was expecting a bit more from him. We'll see. We'll see. Worst world champions: Rolly Romero, Charles Martin, Lucas Brown. Who am I missing? I wouldn't class Lucas Brown just because he was a regular champion. I wouldn't class him personally. But out of the four belt era, it's got to be between Charles Martin and Rolly Romero. I think Rolly is worse. I think Rolly is worse. He'd have a chance. He'd have a fighting chance. Dalton Smith would beat Rolly Romero. Bro, do you know how many fighters there are right now and promoters who are trying to get that Rolly Romero fight? There are going to be so many that guy is going to have so many offers, man, because he's shit. He's absolutely dreadful. He got his boxing license in a fucking Cheerios box. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. He probably is on the juice, to be fair, Takam. Yeah, I agree, bro. I'd say he's probably like he's. I mean, who's at 140 now domestically? Let's have a look at the domestic guys at 140. O'Hara Davis, I don't think he beats O'Hara Davis. Dalton Smith, I don't think he beats Dalton Smith. Adam Azim, I don't think he beats Adam Azim. So yeah, currently, if you look at it in context, he wouldn't be top three, in my opinion, domestically in the UK. That's how bad he is. That's how bad Rolly Romero is. And I know, like Azim himself hasn't done anything, but he's clearly more fucking talented. I don't care about resumes. He'd knock out Rolly Romero. That's what I would do if I was Sky, by the way, because they're hyping this Adam Azim up. I would make a massive offer to Rolly Romero to try and get him to the UK to snag that title. I agree. Only fight Rolly should be having is Ishmael Barroso too, and it should be in Venezuela. Facts. That would have been a good fight. Yeah, Povetkin would have beat him, probably on points at that stage, but he'd have beat him. Povetkin would have won. Lol, and Rolly Romero is the same guy that Tank was dropping rounds to. That's pound for pound, bro. That's pound for pound skill right there, bro. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. People's standards have dropped so far, man. Like, boxing fans' standards have dropped so far to that, like, you can lose rounds to a bum like Rolly Romero, then fight a weight-drained Ryan Garcia without a title on the line in a catchweight fight, and that's pound for pound. Boxing fans' standards have fallen into the gutter. Fallen into the gutter when a guy like Tank is being considered as pound for pound. Talented guy, sure, but he's not done enough for my liking. What would be your weight class if you were a pro boxer? I've not weighed myself in a while, but I think right now I'm about 170. I'd probably cut down to 54, I guess, maybe. I'm like 6'2" as well, so I'll try and get as low as I could and just utilize my reach. I'll try and get down to 54 more than likely. I know, right waved. I know. It's not for everybody. Yeah, imagine if these modern clowns fought Prime Pacquiao or Marquez, laugh out loud. Yeah, these guys don't know anything, bro. Madness. Apparently, Wank Davis is the GOAT because he beat Gayboy Garcia. You may as well put Sonny Edwards on the pound for pound list at this point. See, that's a fair point. Like, there's nothing wrong if you like his style, no problem at all. But like the whole top 10 pound for pound thing is like ludicrous, man. It's absolutely ludicrous. Yeah, maybe Nordic, but Chisora back then was very, very tough. He was very, very tough. And guys back then did go the distance with Povetkin. I think Chisora may be able to do it back in like 2010, 2011. I've never heard of him. Lawrence Humes. It's hard to say, bro. It's hard to say. I know he's going to get a lot of interest, though. If he keeps winning, he's going to develop like he'll do numbers because people hate him because of his showboating. What's up, Big Say So? What's up, 150? How you doing? Sonny Edwards, yeah. I'm still not sure, bro. I'm still not sure. I'm still undecided. I can't really. It's going to be one of those fights where I'm going to need to rely on just intuition and gut instincts. Right now, I'm not really prepared to say because I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced. It should be interesting. I hope it's a good fight. I've got a feeling, though. I can't lie. I've got a feeling it's going to be dull. Yeah, I think Prime Chisora had a better chin than Takam, yeah. I think he had a better chin. Now, Povetkin would have clarted Hellenius. He had knocked him out. Povetkin was too upright. Hellenius was too upright. And he's got that horrible habit of like backing up with his lead down. So he'll back up in a straight line to get out of the way. With his lead hand down, I can see Povetkin exploding with a big power shot and knocking him out. Valdez again. First fight was controversial, but I think Valdez wins. I think Valdez wins. Yeah, in like 2012, yeah, that would have been a good fight. 2012, 2013. Again, I agree. I think Hellenius was a very kind style for Povetkin, even in Hellenius's prime. Who knows, man? Nobody knows with Usyk right now. It looks like Dubois may be pulling out of that fight, which would make Wilder the mandatory. Thing is with Pulev, man, he was so one-dimensional. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't stand watching that guy fight. That fencing sort of style, dull as fuck. Dull as fuck. I like him as a person. He kind of makes me laugh. He's a funny guy, but his style, not for me. Not for me. Had a really good jab, yeah, cool, but just too fucking meh. Yeah, I know there's a lot of fights back then that could have happened, yeah. Very good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'll do a prediction video nearer the time. I'm leaning towards Taylor though, as of right now. But I think Lopez is more live than a lot of people are giving him credit for. Maybe. Pimp my sniper, maybe. It's how he handles the inside. Is he allowed to hold or not? Shagayev versus Adamek would have been a really good fight. Two shorter heavyweights. Well, obviously, Adamek came up from light heavyweight. I'd favour Shagayev personally. If both guys are like at a good level still, I'd favour Shagayev. Would have been a good fight. I knew about the gun, but I didn't know about the weed. I swear weed is legal in LA anyway. But yeah, I mean, listen, I know Deontay Wilder's an arse clown. I said at the time, though, I don't blame anybody for fucking carrying a gun in LA. Can't really blame him, to be honest. Can't really blame him. Yeah, they were, yeah. I mean, Pulev was top 10 for about 10 years. Povetkin was top 10 for what? When did Povetkin enter the top 10? I want to say 08. Povetkin entered the top 10 in the heavyweight division. Let me have a look on the Ring magazine. Let's have a look. Ring magazine. Heavyweight rankings. Let's have a look. I don't think you can look at rankings year by year. It might be 2007, you know, when Povetkin first got into the top 10. Oh, yeah, I might have found it. Povetkin. Okay, Povetkin was top 10 starting in 2007. So he was ranked number 10 at the close of 2007. And he was ranked number 3 in 2020. So he was ranked in the top 10 for 13 years. 13 years. And he might have been top 10 in 2021 at some point as well. When did he fight Dillian White again? Was that 2021? It would have been, yeah. He would have been top 10 at the start of 2021 as well. So 14 years he was ranked top 10. Povetkin. Madness. Well, that's what I would do if I was Dubois. Honestly, Matt, I'd probably take the Usyk fight and cash out. But at the same time, I wouldn't blame him for not taking that fight. If he were to vacate the regular title and say, I need development fights, I wouldn't blame him. Because he does. He needs development fights. He needs development fights. I vaguely remember that, Nordic. Yeah, I vaguely remember. Because Pulev was like in line for a few eliminators. I swear he was in line for an eliminator against Tyson Fury at one point. I might be wrong on that. It was funny as fuck go out. It was good to watch, right? Yeah, Adamek got fucking taken apart by Vitali. And yeah, the end of his career was tragic because he was a really good fighter, Adamek. But he's one of those guys who's going to go unnoticed. He's not going to be remembered, but light heavyweight champion, cruiserweight champion, and he fought for a heavyweight title. He had a pretty good fucking career, Adamek. He had a pretty good career. But yeah, he showed a lot of heart in that fight against Vitali. That was the bad thing about fighting Vitali, though. People always talk about Vitali's power. I think Vitali's power was, I don't want to say average, but he wasn't a monster puncher. He just hit you so fucking much. He was heavy-handed without being like having that like snappy, like electric one-hitter quitter power. But every time he hit you, you felt it, and he hit you a lot. So when he fought Vitali, man, if he was finding the target on a regular basis, man, that was a long, painful night. Like we saw with Thomas Adamek, Shannon Briggs, Danny Williams. You know, he's just a strong guy. Not like a bang one shot you're out. He could do that to lower level guys, but if he was at a decent level, usually he didn't knock you out one shot straight away. He'd break you down, beat you up, take your soul, and then just take you out. He's one of those sort of guys. And those are the worst sorts of beatings you can take in boxing. That's the worst type of punishment you can take. Price getting clarted in a couple of rounds, getting knocked out cold, is probably better for his brain, believe it or not, rather than taking 11, 12 rounds of Vitali punishment. I need to stick the light on. But yeah, Vitali was a bad man. Oh yeah, the car smoked out. But I don't blame him. I honestly don't blame him for carrying a gun in LA. Don't blame him. Briedis is fighting Chisora. Oh yeah, they had some beef, didn't they, recently? I don't know though. Briedis is old. Chisora's old. I'd watch it. He honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he was juiced because he took such a beating. He took such a beating that night. Yeah, I mean, Povetkin's technique was ridiculously good, and he made it look so easy as well. He was so fluid. Povetkin, really, really fluid, very explosive as well. Underrated athlete, Povetkin. Underrated athlete. Yeah, Fury turned the Pulev eliminator down. Yeah. Fury also refused to fight Povetkin on multiple occasions. See, people don't know this though, Nordic. Like, people don't know this. When we criticize Tyson Fury, they're like these fanboys who have been following Fury maybe since the Klitschko fight. I've been following Fury since the ITV4 days when he turned pro. I think he turned pro on Carl Froch versus Jean Pascal, I want to say, in 08. This guy used to fight on ITV4. Then he went to Sky for a bit when he fought the likes of John McDermott. Then he went to Channel 5. when he fought guys like Chisora, for example, Nikolai Furfer, Neven Pajkic. He went to Box Nation for a bit after that. He's been everywhere. I've followed his career since day one. And these guys will act up when you say Fury's ducking Usyk, and then you say he's got a pattern of ducking. When if you followed his career since day one, you'd realise that's true. Most of Fury's fans are fly-by-nights. They've come recently. They've not followed his career since day one. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Yeah, Charles Conwell really got cast aside after he killed Patrick Day on DAZN. Nobody will promote him anymore. Yeah, he's had some fights since, but I don't think they've been on like any major card. I don't think they've been on like any major card. Let's have a look. When did he last fight? He last fought in November. And didn't have a good performance by looks of it. Went to a majority decision against Juan Carlos Abreu. So maybe now the inactivity is getting to him, kind of been blackballed. To be fair, Povetkin was fouled. He was fouled to shit, yeah. Who wins, Hughie Fury or Fraser Clark? Probably Hughie Fury, but who knows, man. I don't rate Hughie Fury. I don't rate Fraser Clark. I find the idea of that fight, Henry, I think it'll be such a shit fight. I really do. I guess you'd go Hughie on experience, and he's done 10, 12 rounds multiple times. I'll go Hughie Fury. I think he outboxes Fraser Clark. Yeah, the Fury fans are the same as the AJ fans. Just look at the drop-off since AJ lost. Yeah, that's true, man. A lot of these guys, like I say, are fly-by-nights. You know what I mean? They are what they are, man. But I remember the days of Tyson Fury on ITV4, then Channel 5. No, ITV4, Sky, then Channel 5, and then he went kind of everywhere. I remember these days. The Ustinov fight, which fell through because Tyson Fury pulled out after the weigh-in and all this. And people at the time were giving Tyson Fury all these excuses. Well, his uncle died, he can pull out. He's emotionally, damaged, whatever. And then you hear the story about Ismael Barroso on the day of the day of a weigh-in on one of his fights. He got a call that his wife was kidnapped and murdered, and he fought the next day. Tyson Fury's turned down so many fucking fights. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And people want reasonable boxing fans to proclaim Tyson Fury as some sort of all-time great. Like, fuck, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Very talented fighter. Maybe he's got the potential to do that. In fact, in a head-to-head sense, I think Tyson Fury would give many all-time great heavyweights hard fights, and he'd beat quite a lot as well. But boxing, you don't judge somebody like that on fantasy matchups. You judge them on what they do. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, Corey Sanders was a good fighter. His problem was he never took boxing all that seriously. His passion was golf. He was just decent at boxing, so he kind of did it. But he was a very powerful guy, like you said, quick as well. Good fighter. Southpaw as well. One of the very few Southpaw heavyweight champions. There's not been many. When he beat Vladimir Klitschko, he won the WBO, I think it was. He was a good fighter. Yeah, Fury's build reminds me of Dr. Eggman. It does, yeah, it does. What's up? What's up, G-Man? How you doing, man? Big up to yourself. Check him out, by the way. Check out his boxing channel and his crime channel. Yeah, very good fight. Yeah, Corey Sanders had a lot of talent. A lot of talent. But again, he just didn't realize it because he liked golf, you know? He liked his golf. He's actually got a win over Johnny Nelson as well, by the way. He's got a win over Johnny Nelson, Corey Sanders. And I think Carlos De Leon as well, who was like a former good cruiserweight champion. I know Carlos De Leon was like way past his best, but it's a good name to have. Judging and refereeing criteria has changed over the years, so it may have been more difficult for Fury to compete with the great heavyweights of the past. Maybe, but you can flip that and maybe. But like, there's no way for my money, like a Joe Frazier would beat Tyson Fury. There's just no way. Put the romanticism aside, like Tyson Fury would beat Joe Frazier quite easily, I would say. You know, guys like Frazier, I think he'd beat up. Lewis, he'd beat up. And some guys are just so far back that, you know, boxing's just evolved since then. There were techniques from a certain time period ago that just aren't used now and wouldn't be effective. Like, it makes me laugh when like boxing historians say like Jack Johnson, if you took him in a time machine, you take him to now, would beat like Tyson Fury. That's ridiculous. He wouldn't be a top 20 heavyweight. Look at the skills. Same with Jack Dempsey. These guys would get squat. The skills weren't, you know, the skills were still evolving then. Like, the techniques were evolving. They were great for their time, but like, bro, that's what annoys me about boxing historians. It's when they insert these guys into hypothetical matchups, they wouldn't do well. Yeah, all of these top heavyweights would beat Joe Frazier. Fury, Wilder, AJ, Usyk, they'd all beat Frazier, man. I don't care what anybody says. The footage is there. Yeah. I mean, nostalgia is one of the most, in regards to sales and advertising, nostalgia is like one of the most powerful things you can draw upon. One of them, you know, that's why they remake everything these days. Like, remake movies, remake games. Most people can't ignore nostalgia. Yeah, there's also 15 rounds back in the day, yeah. But if you look at a lot of those heavyweight fights from back in the day, like the Ali days in the 15 rounders, there was also a tremendous amount of holding, especially from Ali. He used to hold a lot, but nobody really mentions it. Exactly, yeah. That's when people say like Rocky Marciano beats modern day heavyweights, it's pure fantasy world. It's pure fantasy world, honestly. And again, these guys are great. They're great for their time. They did what they had to do, and they should be remembered. There's no doubt about it. But it's when these fucking dorks fucking they'll insert them into like mythical matchups against modern day fighters, bro. It's crazy. I think you can do that with fighters from like the 70s, 80s, 90s onwards. But like prior to that, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I think Ali would do well in the modern era. I do think he'd do well. Foreman probably does okay. I don't think Fraser does at all. Give me a current, not so good heavyweight that would squash Marciano. Who's in the rankings, bro? I don't even know. Hergovich. There you go. Dave Allen versus Fraser. I'm not going to disrespect Joe that much. No, Joe would batter Joe would batter Dave Allen. That's true, Wilder's ear. Yeah, if young Foreman had the brains of an old Foreman, he would have dominated the 70s era. Yes, sir. He would have done. Well, he'd have been a lot better than he was. He'd have been a lot better than he was. His jab got better on his return. His jab was really good on his return. David Price versus Marciano. Honestly, Marciano might actually beat David Price. He might actually beat him. You never know. That'd be a fun fight to watch. If I could make a time machine, I'd probably make that fight. All the fights you make David Price versus Marciano. That'd be fucking hilarious. That'd be fucking hilarious. But I agree with this statement. Yeah, I agree. Could Marciano even reach Price's chin? The thing is, Marciano had a good work rate, so if he could stay tucked up, try and crowd and smother Price, work the body a little bit, Price is gonna gas out. Don't forget, he had a terrible gas tank as well. He had a terrible gas tank, awful gas tank. And then basically, just once Price is gassed out, you just push him over. That's basically it. It's like the Christian Hammer fight. He just gassed out and just basically flopped over. That was it. That would be Price. That would be Marciano's game plan. Tuck up, try to smother Price, work up close, work to the body, wait for Price to get tired. I know, right? Fucking most random ass fantasy fight of all time. David Price versus Rocky Marciano. Honestly, Rocky Marciano might fucking beat David Price. He might beat him. Oi, 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 oi. Interesting news if you're a football fan. Sheikh Jassim has now made another increased bid for 100% of Manchester United. It will clear all debt and include separate funds directly solely for the club and the community. Sources guarantee this is a significant increase over the initial proposal. It's getting me excited, bro. Like, this whole Man United fucking shit is driving me up the wall, bro. Honestly. I want Qatar. I want Qatari money. I want that Arab money at Man United. It's not even for like the fact that it's for the money, because if Manchester United was run correctly, we wouldn't need like a billionaire owner, like a fucking Arab owner. But the Glazers have just fucking saddled the club with debt when they bought the club. They leveraged their debt against the club, which we have to pay interest on every year, 70 million interest every year. Plus they take dividends. Plus they haven't employed the right football people, terrible recruitment. They've run the club into the ground. We've basically had a handicap for 20 years. It's not about the money spent on players. We've spent the money on players, but it's like recruitment's been so poor. Nobody's heads rolled for the terrible job they've done. Football people aren't being appointed. And we could spend even more money if it weren't for the debt. We could spend even more money. We could compete with Man City if we just had a well run club. We don't actually need Arab money if it was run correctly, but we do now because we need to clear the debt. We need a new stadium. We need a new training ground. We need Arab money now. But if a club was run correctly, we would have never needed it. That's the annoying thing. That's the annoying thing. I sound like disturbed reality. I may be disturbed reality. Yeah, no, it's for Qataris. For Qataris, yeah. But they'll put money in, man. They'll put money in. And it's kind of annoying. Like, I would have liked Man United to have been like a self-sufficient club, which we, again, if we was run correctly, we could be. But, the Glazers kind of ensured that would never happen. So we're in the point now to where we need it. We need it. Because it's not a case of like Leeds United, when Leeds United got in loads of transfer debt and they got relegated and this, that, and the other, they went through financial troubles. That was of their own doing. It's of these fucking slimy ass cunt Glazers. That's why it's annoying. Exactly, Toby. Yeah, exactly. And again, you have to factor as well. Like currently, I think the Glazers being at United I think it's cost us over $1 billion going out of a club in regards to interest payments on debt, dividends being taken by the Glazers. That's what makes me laugh about rival fans. Oh, you've spent nearly as much as Man City. Yeah, we have, but it's our own money. The Glazers have never put in any money. That's what annoys me about the rival fans. You can clown other clubs, but just be honest with your assessment. It's same with boxing fans. Like, just be honest. Do you know what I mean? Just be honest. Yeah, I think Chris Eubank Senior is overrated. Yeah, he did well for British boxing in the 90s. He got things popping, but in the grand scheme of things, I think he was overrated. Yes, he's got some good wins. The second Michael Watson win, really good. The stoppage over Nigel Benn, good win. Lyndall Holmes, good win. Rushi Agani, good. That was a really good win, actually. Rushi Agani away from home in Germany, good win. He's got some good wins, Chris Eubank Senior. Some wins that don't really get covered that much, like Rushi Agani, for example. Good fighter, but a little overrated, yes. A little overrated. I wish he fought like a Tony or a Roy. He'd have got smoked by Roy Jones. And he'd have got smoked by Tony if Tony was at his best. But the thing with James Toney, like if you look at James Toney like accurately and you put him in fantasy matchups, you have to add the caveat that it may be James Toney who's not trained properly, because even in his prime, sometimes he'd turn up out of shape, he'd cut a lot of weight really quickly, and that would make for really bad performances, like against Drake Fadzi, for example, who James Toney was levels and levels and levels and levels and levels above, but we saw what happened in that fight. That's the thing with James Toney, that's why Chris Eubank Senior should have fought him. Because who knows, maybe he would have caught James Toney on one of those bad nights. And if James Toney fought Chris Eubank Jr. on one of his bad nights, Eubank would have won. Yeah, Jim Ratcliffe doesn't have the money to buy the club. He doesn't, that's what it looks like, but he's got enough money to buy a part of a club and keep the Glazers, keep the Glazers with a stake. That's what a lot of fans are worried about. That's what a lot of fans are worried about. I don't think we're going to get the Qataris, by the way. I really don't. I'd rather listen. If we don't get them, I'd rather they never came in for us, because it's like the hope and excitement of getting Qatari owners, and then it gets snatched away from you. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I'm working on the basis it's not going to happen, so I'm not going to be too disappointed. I will be disappointed, but Yeah, Dave Tiberi as well. Got robbed, yes, sir. Exactly. These are the sort of guys who were giving James Toney hard fights. Not because they was as good, because they weren't. They just trained properly. Whereas James Toney didn't. I think I was reading an article years ago about Freddie Roach was talking about James Toney, and he was saying about James Toney's training, and he was saying this guy, or it might have been Steve Collins actually. It might have been Steve Collins I think he trained with James Toney once, and he said like he was the most talented fighter I've ever seen in the gym. But I saw this guy in between sparring rounds drinking like Pepsi and shit, and like in between rounds like drinking soda and shit and all that garbage. Sumbu Kalambe is another guy who was underrated, very underrated. That's why it's a risky fight for Fraser Clark, because of because of Clark's extensive amateur pedigree in comparison to Wardley's non-existent amateur pedigree. If Clark loses that fight, it's a huge blow, especially considering Clark is 32. That's why they ducked it. Do you know the science behind having a bad chin? I guess it's to do with not seeing the punches coming, your stance, bone density, etc. I do wonder. I think bone density is probably a good shout. The shape of your jaw, maybe. The thickness of your skull. Like Chavez Sr., for example, apparently the front of his skull was like, it was something crazy like 4 or 5 times thicker than the average person. I can't help but feel you're either born with a chin or not, or you're not. Can't explain it. There's some dudes on the fight team who can take harder shots than others. Yeah. I agree, Lee. I agree. I think Steve Collins always had Eubank's number. Nigel Benn, I'm not quite as sure on, because Nigel Benn was washed by the time he fought Collins, to be honest. He was washed. Eubank wasn't. People make out like Eubank was shot when he fought Collins. He wasn't. He wasn't shot whatsoever. But Ben was. Ben was washed when he fought Collins. He was washed. Yeah, Sumbu Kalambe was great, and so was Michael Nunn, by the way. Michael Nunn was a really tidy boxer. Everything off that jab, lovely. Yeah, there's that as well. Like people who cut a lot of weight, being dehydrated can affect punch resistance. Yep. Kerry O'Connor's too big, too strong. That's boxing in a nutshell, Edmund Ironside. Yeah, a lot of these guys just root for fighters because it makes them feel better. That's how, bro. We live in a day and age now where a lot of people have terrible self-esteems, and it's these types of people who live vicariously through others, people who they don't even know, just because they look like them. So when that fighter wins, they feel like they won. They feel like they achieved something. It's the most cringe, embarrassing way to watch any sport or anything in general. It's fucking embarrassing, but it is what it is. That's society these days. Yeah, Ben wasn't the same after the McClellan fight. Yeah, facts. There is a new boxing game out. It's called ESB. What's it called? Undisputed, I think it's called. Was that Shane Sturm versus Golovkin? Golovkin late stoppage. Golovkin late stoppage. I think Sturm's going to stay in there for a while due to his high guard, his good defense, but I think Golovkin gets him out of there. Maybe even mid rounds. But yeah, man, this whole thing about boxing fans are fucking weird, Edmund. They're fucking weird. Absolutely weird. I like who I like, man. If I like a fighter who conducts himself well, who fights good guys, who wants to fight the best, I'll support him no matter what. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple. And as long as I like their style as well. That's really the caveats for me. I've got to like your style. I've got to believe that you want to fight for best, even if you haven't quite proven it yet. And yeah, that's really it, honestly. Good style, enjoyable to watch, and you want to fight for best. That's really all there is to it, right? That's all I want to see. Yeah, that's a bad one. Bad robbery. Yeah, Sturm clearly outboxed De La Hoya. De La Hoya could never get to grips with Sturm's jab that night or his high guard. Felix Sturm was a good tidy boxer. Good tidy boxer, Felix Sturm. I don't know what you're on about, Edmund. I don't watch like pre-fight shit anymore, to be honest with you. I used to watch like all the pre-fight shit way back in the day, but I don't watch anything now. I don't watch any pre-fight like build up or like the documentaries and all this shit. I don't watch it, bro. Did he actually make it about race though? That's interesting. I know who Ade is, but it is what it is, man. I don't give a fuck. That's why I don't watch many channels, bro. I don't watch. I just do my own thing, really. I don't watch many channels. I don't want that insecurity. Sorry, I don't want that insecurity and beta bitch made behavior. Like I don't want to be absorbing that energy. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be absorbing it. Yeah, apparently he's got a thick skull as well, which doesn't surprise me, considering the way he takes a shot. Yeah, Sturm went to prison for tax evasion, and also there was something to do with his PED case. I think he may have been sent to prison for that as well. I think he's got sent back to prison. So he got sent to prison. He came out, had a few comeback fights, and I think he's back in prison now. Good YTBC channels. G-Man Boxing's up there. Fight Film, Nordic, BDA Boxing. Now, apparently it's going to come out on Wednesday, Ponchi. Apparently the news is going to come out tomorrow, who the referee is. That feels a bit late to me. Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But when you let it cloud your judgment, that's when you're probably not emotionally mature. That's probably when you are, suffering from low self-esteem. Because when you have to rely on others' achievements to boost yourself up, there is something seriously, seriously wrong. That's the truth. There's something seriously wrong. But there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with supporting somebody who's from your country or who even looks like you. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But it's when you become irrational with it. It's when you can't give other guys credit. It's when you have to undermine other guys. That's when it becomes, that's when it becomes a bit suspect. That's when it becomes suspect. Yeah, there are two channels here as well. Chris Andre, Hatman, yeah. Yeah, that's basically it, Benjamin. It's when you start like trivializing other guys, yeah. and just undermining them for no reason whatsoever. It's just irrational though, because they'll do that, or a lot of fans do that to certain fighters, and when their guy beats them, they then expect like their guy to get loads of credit, even though they've been undermining them the whole time. It's like, what? It's mad. It's mad. But yeah, I mean, boxing is what it is. Boxing's one of the worst sports for it because I think it's a one-on-one sport. I think boxing's probably worse for it than most sports. Though I don't see this in MMA as much. I don't see as many of these sort of fans in MMA. I'm sure it exists, but it just feels like that is such a big part of boxing. Definitely the best of his era. He's the best of his era. GOAT? I don't know about that. I don't know how you measure it, to be honest. I'll leave that to like the nerdy historians. But all I'm really concerned about in regards to the current heavyweights is proving who is the best of the era. Yeah, I rate David Morrell. I think he's a very talented fighter. I do. I think he needs a step up now. Honestly, a John Ryder type wouldn't be a bad fight for him. But John Ryder could have had that fight. People forget this, and John Ryder pulled out. I think John Ryder would be a good fight for him. Maybe that's true, yeah. Is it because MMA is a wider arts? Yeah, there's different communities coming together. Yeah, maybe. He can only claim to be the GOAT if he beats Andy Ruiz. Sorry, fucking hell. I think he'd beat Plant as well. I think he'd beat Plant. I just don't have faith in Plant against guys who have the ability to really go through the gears and pull it on him and hit hard. Plant is a good, solid boxer. Good jab, good 1-2, decent counter left hook. He's snazzy, he's flashy, he's decent, but that's all he is. He's a decent fighter. Do you know what I mean? He's a decent fighter, top 10 guy, top 5 at 168 right now because it's so weak. But if it was a stronger division, he'd be like lower level top 10. He's a decent fighter. I'd expect Morrell to beat him. I think Morrell has a lot of talent. I do. I know there's a bit of hype now, but I've spoke about Morrell for a while since the Lennox Allen fight. I think he's a good fighter. Fighting wings at a catch weight, fucking hell. Bro, I spent most of my youth in Luton. What do you think? Of course, yeah. Yeah, Plant has such terrible stamina for an athletic guy. Yeah, he always looks in great shape, Plant. I think Plant outboxes Ryder. Having said that, though, like he'd probably struggle in the last 4 rounds. He'd probably struggle in the last 4 rounds because he gasses and Ryder keeps on coming. Probably like an 8-4 type of fight for Plants, I'd say. See, I forgot my score. I forget I think I had it like 8-4 Benavidez, man. I think I had it 8-4 Benavidez. Very talented fighter. Out of all of the Americans that Eddie signs, I think he's been the best prospect. Like, you know, all of the, like, I know he's Mexican American, but I think he's been the best prospect Eddie has signed on the American side, not including Andy Cruz, obviously. He's Cuban. But I think he's a very talented fighter, good boxer, puncher, big guy for 168, still very young. He's filling out, he's getting stronger, hits hard. I like his shot selection, body work, clean technically in regards to how he delivers his shots, turns his knuckles over really well. I think he's a talented fighter. I think it's too early for like a guy like Morel, to be honest with you. Another year of like development fights and go from there. But he's a very talented fighter. If Benavidez goes to light heavyweight, he's going to get splattered. I think I agree. But again, like maybe Benavidez has one more year at 68, then he goes to light heavyweight. The landscape could look a lot different then. Like if Beterbiev loses, he'll probably retire. And Beterbiev's the guy who could really splatter Benavidez. But Benavidez against a guy like, I don't know, like Benavidez, Callum Smith, for example, would be a really good fucking fight. I don't know, man. I think more than likely, yeah, he'll come unstuck at light heavyweight, but he can probably get a couple of good wins. Yeah, Kenny Bayless again, man, saving Caleb Plant's ass in that fight. Plant started that fight really well, but he just couldn't keep it going. Which is what I kind of expected. The only difference was I kind of expected a stoppage. So I said Plant would start fast, win the early rounds, which he did, and then it just faded. I don't know. I'd put a few guys above Ben right now. I want to see Ben. Ben is flashy, but I don't know. He's one of those guys, man. It's like, is it all style over substance? We'll see. He's got the physical dimensions. He's tall. He's rangy. He's quick. Seems to hit pretty hard. He's definitely probably the top prospect in the UK, maybe. Who do I have in Loma, Haney? I'm still not sure. Honestly. I like it as well, bro. I like it as well. Boxing would be boring if everybody was cookie cutter and the same. I appreciate it's not for everybody. I do find it kind of cringe. This is what thing about Ben Whittaker in regards to his showboating that I will criticize. I find it kind of cringe when he does it in 6-rounders against no-hopers. That is kind of cringe. I think if you showboat, you've got to be at a certain level and it's got to be against a certain opponent, like a decent opponent. It can't be against like some part-time boxer who's like a fucking, carpenter full-time. Do you know what I mean? That's when it gets cringy, the whole showboating thing. So yeah, Ben Whittaker showboating against like journeyman, that is kind of cringe. But I've got no problem with people doing it once they get to like world level, once they're fighting good fighters. Like Sergio Martinez used to do it, for example, Roy Jones. You know what I mean? It's true, but there's certain things that happen certain things that can pass in the amateurs that don't pass in the pros. Can he sustain that over 12 rounds? Because his style is quite, I don't know, he's using a lot of movement. And a lot of that movement is unnecessary as well. Yeah, great. Yeah, showboating looks impressive, like Saunders versus Lemieux. but Whittaker showboating against a 6-4 journeyman is funny and embarrassing at the same time. Listen, that's how I see it. I guess it's still entertainment, though, right? I guess it's still entertainment. It gets us. We're talking about it, so he's doing something right. He is doing something right, but it's. I get why people get upset about it at this level. I get why people get upset about it, but he's getting people talking, which is what fighters need to do. A lot of fighters, man, are so fucking dumb. Like they don't put themselves out there. They don't get people talking. They just expect like the world to come to them more so than them, building a brand and doing this, that, and the other. Like we live in the age now where, in the age of social media, I don't think a fighter should rely on a promoter to get their name out there. They should do it themselves in this day and age. They have social media. Like the promoter's role is different now. They basically just put on fights, sort the advertising out. But they don't go around and beat the drum like they used to. It's up to the fighters now, in my opinion. And a lot of fighters don't get that. A lot of fighters don't get that. He's another guy. I find Azim's showboating just more fun. I don't know why. I just find his showboating more fun. Because with Ben Whittaker, I feel like he's trying to be purposely abrasive, whereas Adam Azim is more tongue-in-cheek, seems like a nice kid. I'm not saying Ben Whittaker isn't, but when Adam Azim does it, it kind of just looks playful. It looks natural. But when Ben Whittaker does it, it seems just a little forced. Just a little forced. Just my opinion. I mean, if he doesn't prove himself, he would be classed as a hype job. I mean, the pros is where it matters, right? I mean, Audley Harrison was a gold medalist, man. It's like, he is being hyped. He is being hyped to a certain degree. I don't think he's getting like massive hype though. It's not like when AJ turned pro or even Luke Campbell, believe it or not. Luke Campbell was very highly hyped when he turned pro. I don't think he's on that level. He does keep his left hand way too low. That is true. He'd beat Rolly, though. He'd beat Rolly Romero. That's what I would do. If I was Adam Azim, I'd be asking my fucking promoter, Ben Shalom, who probably can't fucking do it because he's incompetent. But I'd be asking Ben, get me Rolly Romero. I'd fucking beat this guy. He would beat Rolly Romero. Now you're thinking of what's his name? Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz you're thinking of. I think they patched it up though. Nah, bruv, I don't read boxing magazines, man. I don't read boxing magazines. Paolo Okoso. I don't think I've checked this guy out. Okoso, sorry. What division is he in? 75? Or 168? Yeah, 75. Oh, yeah, no, he beat Yunieski Gonzalez, didn't he, recently? That's a good win for his fourth fight. Beat him on points. It's a good, solid win. Beat Robert Berridge as well, who's like a domestic guy out there. Okay. Have to check him out. Okoli on points. Maybe even knockout. But Billam Smith isn't winning that fight. Bro, Rolly Romero, I said this in my post-fight review, G-Man. I think Rolly Romero is the worst champion in the four belt era. We're not including regular champions, just regular, real champions. I say real. He's, you know what I mean, like real belts. He is the worst world champion in the four belt era. I can't think of anybody worse. I really can't think of anybody worse. By the way, I'm sniffing. It sounds like I've been on coke. I haven't. It's just like allergies and shit. I truly believe he was G-Man. I think Martin is better pound for pound than Rolly Romero because at least Martin has a bit of subtlety with his left hand. He can disguise it. He's kind of crafty. There's a little something there, you know. But with Rolly Romero, man, all this guy does is lunge and load up. His reactions are that of a sloth. It's like, bro, this guy sucks. He's bad. He's bad. And again, there are numerous guys outside the top 10 who beat him. We were saying this earlier. Would he beat, like, let's say he's British. Would he beat O'Hara? We're not talking Josh Taylor either. Would he beat O'Hara Davis? In my opinion, no. I think O'Hara knocks him out. Would he beat Dalton Smith? In my opinion, no. Would he beat Adam Azim? I don't think he would. I think he's terrible. I think he's absolutely dreadful. No, I think Julius is better. I think Julius is better, or was better. He was bad. But I think with Julius and Dongo, he just got the bag in that Crawford fight and gave up. Like, he beat Ricky Burns. He kind of really outpointed Ricky Burns. He knocked out Troyanowski. He wasn't great, don't get me wrong. But, like, he's better than Rolly. When was Christian Sanavia a champion? That's got to be like 10 years ago. Sorry, I'm fucking sniffing for some reason. Was Sanavia even a champion? I swear he wasn't. Oh yeah, he was. I remember him like at Euro level. Because I think he fought Groves or De Gale, one of the two. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, he fought De Gale. I remember that fight. He fought Marat. He beat Marcus Bayer, so it's like... Current and Dongo probably beats Rolly. Have it on the packet. I wish. Yeah, Rolly. Yeah, he can't. He's dumb. He's piece of shit, bro. Honestly. It's a disgrace he's a world champion. An absolute disgrace. Rolly Romero. Fucking hell. Let's have a look at 140 right now. He doesn't beat Prograis. He doesn't beat Teofimo. He doesn't beat Jose Ramirez. He doesn't beat Arnold Barboza. He doesn't beat Gary Antoine Russell. He doesn't beat Sandor Martin. He doesn't beat Matias. He doesn't beat Pedraza. He doesn't beat Richardson Hitchens. He doesn't beat Steve Spark. Does he beat Richard Comey now? I don't think so. He doesn't beat Cepeda. He doesn't beat O'Hara Davis. He doesn't beat Alberto Puello. Does he beat a washed Sergei Lipinets? Probably not. Brandon Lee? I mean, Brandon Lee fucking sucks. But he's got more skills than Rolly. Maybe he could beat a Brandon Lee. So that's like one guy in the top 20 that I could maybe see him beating. Let's look outside the top 20. Kenneth Sims Jr. doesn't win. Jeremias Ponce doesn't win. Liam Parrow doesn't win. I don't think I'm exaggerating here either, by the way. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I really don't. I don't think he beats that kid who lost his Sims on the undercard, Akhmedov. I don't think he beats him. He fucking sucks. He fucking sucks. He's dreadful. Ivan Mendy, do you guys remember him? He's gone to 140 now. Does he beat Mendy? He probably beats Mendy now. Mendy's like 37. He probably beats Mendy. But look at the top 25 at 140 on BoxRec. He doesn't. I don't think he beats any of these guys. Maybe he could beat a washed Comey or a washed Lipinets. Maybe Brandon Lee. But we really are splitting hairs here. We're really going to the bottom of a barrel. Yeah, I think he's a prick, yeah. Yeah, I think he's a prick, Sonny Edwards. Yeah, Lee Selby was an average world. He was average. He was average. He was a solid fighter, but yeah, average world champion, in my opinion. I agree, yeah. Sonny Edwards, yeah, has little man syndrome. I was the same size as him when I was about 7, yeah, facts. My dick's taller than that guy. I'd be a prick too if I was 5'4", looking like a rat. I'd be pissed as well. I'd be a prick as well. Maybe I am a prick. I feel it's okay to talk like I feel it's okay to talk about Sonny like that because he talks like that about everyone else. So, but yeah, what's up, Marcy? How you doing? Why have I got like fucking allergies all of a sudden, man? It's so fucking annoying. I like the last 3 or 4 years, I've not really had allergies. So it basically, I get allergies like once every 4 years or 5 years in the spring. It's fucking annoying. Does Rowley beat Harlem Eubank? Yeah, I think he beats Harlem. Harlem sucks as well. He's terrible. He's actually 5'3". Makes it even worse, doesn't it? Makes it even worse. My ex was taller than fucking Sonny Edwards. My last ex. And she was small. She was like 5'4". Literally, yeah. My type of woman, I usually like a chick between 5'5" and 5'7"-ish. Maybe 5'8". My ideal chick is taller than Sonny Edwards. Bruh, imagine. Sonny definitely has rodent-like features. Oh, can you imagine what Prime Gatti would do to Rowley? Can you imagine? He does look like he's off Rugrats. I just think he comes across. I know I've been cussing the guy out for like the last minute, so this comes across as a bit hypocritical, right? But he just comes across as a really nasty, vindictive, spiteful little cunt. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those guys. So that's what you get with a lot of small guys. Like in the street, I don't care whether that guy's a pro boxer. He'd get his ass whooped by so many people in the streets. He'd get his ass whooped. Hence why he's a fucking mouthy little cunt. That's why he tries to get under people's skin. Bro, I wish he took it, bro. I wish he took it. He's a clown. He's a good fighter. He's a good boxer, though. I'll be honest. He's a good boxer. I won't be. I won't let my dislike of Sonny Edwards deny his skills. He's good at what he does. I think he loses to like Bam Rodriguez. I don't think he's like a remarkable world champion, but he's a good boxer. I'm 5'11" and a half, and I like girls from 5'3" to 5'5". I like to have a level of dominance. Yeah, like a guy who's, let's say, 13 stone. He's just got to grab Sonny Edwards and he's done. That's what I'm saying, though. Imagine being a pro boxer, but you can't win most street fights. That must be a mind fuck. That must be a complete mind fuck. You fight for a living, but you couldn't beat a large portion of the population in a street fight. You couldn't beat a large part of the population in a street fight. That's mad. That's absolutely mad. Can you imagine? Poor Sonny. I'll leave Sonny alone. He's a good fight. He's a good boxer. He is a good boxer. He's a good boxer, yeah. But again, I think he comes unstuck against Bam Rodriguez more than likely. Maybe even Martinez as well. Maybe even Martinez. I'm not convinced like Sonny can take shots from Martinez, man. I'm not convinced. I know Martinez hasn't looked great recently, but yeah, Sonny Edwards, yeah, he changes his accent like every 2 seconds. Like 1 minute, it's like a Yardi accent, then it's a Mancunian accent, then it's like a Cockney accent. He's a fucking idiot. I think Martinez beat Sonny, to be fair. Maybe, yeah, maybe. The way Martinez is looking now, maybe. But at those lighter weights, man, that like fucking those Latin Americans, man, Brits don't usually do well against them. Just that pressure. Just that pressure. Yeah, I think it's like it's probably like it's ingrained because he's so small. He's probably like developed it. Maybe it wasn't natural as he was born, but maybe he's kind of developed it over the years because he's so short. He just reminds me of that kid in school. You know, there's always that kid in school who talked a lot of shit, opened his mouth a lot, but as soon as like, somebody was about to whoop his ass, he'd go to the teacher immediately. He's just one of those. He's got that vibe about him. He's got that energy about him. The best thing to happen would have been Sonny Edwards to get clarted before he went to Matchroom. Oh, that's a tough one. Isaac Lowe is a complete and utter mongoloid, to be fair. Isaac Lowe's a fucking idiot. I like what Prince Patel calls him, Isaac Low IQ. Such a good fucking insult. Isaac Low IQ. That's such a great insult. He basically does G-Man. He lives off Tyson Fury, Isaac Lowe. It's like Isaac Lowe's like a parrot on Fury's shoulder. Have you seen this guy's Twitter, bro? Have you seen this guy's Twitter? Like he cannot spell anything. He's got the worst, bro. Deciphering his tweets is like deciphering like an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic. Do you know what I mean? It's madness. Ventriloquist dummy. I reckon he was coked up as well. I saw that little video they recorded about him and Prince Patel. Isaac Lowe looked coked up. Let's get ready for to rumbled Isaac Lowe. Yeah, that was lovely to watch, man. When Nick Ball just absolutely decimated him. Yeah, Fury's fucking suspect, isn't he? Fucking Isaac Lowe. I'd actually like to see that fight though. Isaac Lowe versus Prince Patel. Isaac Lowe's a few weight divisions bigger than Prince Patel, so he'd win. Isaac Lowe would win. Where's Isaac Lowe at? Is he featherweight? I think he's featherweight. Yeah, he's featherweight. Where's Prince Patel? What weight's he? Prince Patel. Super flyweight. That was his last title fight anyway. Super flyweight. Yeah, they're too far apart. I'd watch it though. I'd watch it. Yeah, imagine saying that about your supposed friend. Yeah. Who triggers you more, Bellew, Edwards, Lowe, or Rowley? Rowley doesn't trigger me. It's just like how shit he is and how he's been gifted shit. Lowe doesn't trigger me either. I just cringe when I watch him. Probably Bellew still. Probably Bellew. I say Bellew. Yeah, Bellew. Because, like I say, Rolly Romero doesn't really trigger me. Like, he's probably a laugh outside boxing. I mean, if I was to hang out with one of those guys, I'd actually hang out with Rolly Romero. I think he'd be a laugh, at least. I wouldn't want to spend any time around Bellew or Sonny Edwards or Isaac Lowe. Whereas I think Rolly would be a laugh on a night out, I reckon. I think it'd be a laugh. I wouldn't have a problem with Bellew if he had kept his promise that we would never see him again. Coogan, it's Anthony now. Tony's gone. Tony's long gone. Fucking cringe when he came out with that. Have you noticed ever since then nobody calls him Anthony? It's still Tony. When he tried to do that, when he tried to become Anthony, that's so fucking cringe. Oh my god. It's Anthony now. Fucking hell. Good old Tony Bellew. Good old Tony Bellew. Yeah, you'll never hear from me again, Cougs. Yeah. Ward and Froch are the two biggest narcissists in boxing history. Froch is a weird one. That guy trolls people. He knows how to get reactions. He's got a dry sense of humor. That's what I've noticed. He likes to troll people. Anybody with a sense of humor, I know there's a lot to not like about Carl Froch, but I think anyone with a sense of humor is less likely to be a narcissist, or a severe narcissist at least. Think of all the narcissistic people that you've known. How many have been funny? There's not many. I can't think of any in my life. Yeah, Froch is low-key funny, I can't lie. He trolls people hard. I don't think he is. I don't think Froch is a sociopath. Who is current sociopaths in boxing or psychopaths? I'm trying to think. Like actual psychopaths. Obviously, promotional wise, Don King, I'd say, was a psychopath. I don't know, current like fighters though. Yeah, there is that. You are right about the criticism thing. You are right there. Yeah, he does get wound up. He's not as bad as he used to be. He was terrible when he was fighting. When it comes to crit, he was awful. Don King and Eddie Hearn are psychopaths, in my opinion. I don't think Eddie Hearn is. He may be a narcissist. I don't think he's a psychopath. Tank. I've wondered about Tank. Do you know? No bullshit. Tank to me seems like he has. I don't know whether it's like psychopathy. I wouldn't be shocked if Tank is autistic. I'm not lying. I wouldn't be shocked if Tank is autistic. I really wouldn't be shocked. Because I doubt he's been tested. Or he has like Asperger's or something like that. To me, he gives off that autist vibe. I'm not trying to cuss him anyway. I'm not like making fun of it. Kid Galahad's a good shout. Kid Galahad's a very good shout in regards to psychopaths. Sorry. Kid Galahad is probably the best shout I've heard. Yeah, you may have a point about Tank. You can kind of hear from the way he speaks. Yeah. Yeah, Bundy vibes. Yeah, Ted Bundy vibes. He's a strange ass guy, Kid Galahad. Yeah, Nordic made a video about the Bute fight. And then there's the South African dude as well. There's a couple of bits about Froch's career that don't meet the eye. More to certain fights than meets the eye. Chisora is heading towards psychopathy. CTE induced. Yeah, he's a strange guy. He's another one who's fucking shifty and all. Ben Shalom, yeah, he's another shifty guy. He's another shifty guy. Kid Galahad reminds me of that sort of guy. You know, Kid Galahad is that sort of guy who he could have all the money in the world. I don't think that guy could get laid without paying for it. He reminds me of that sort of guy. Dillian White to me is funny as fuck. I can't lie. I think Dillian White outside of boxing would be a good laugh. Because he doesn't take himself too seriously. I'll be honest, some of the jokes he makes are suspect as fuck, but when he's relaxed, he actually doesn't take himself too seriously. Like someone like Dillian White is not a fucking. He's a pretty regular guy, I think. Dillian White. He's pretty funny outside of boxing. Yeah, Tank is empty. I do wonder with Tank. I think there's something wrong there. I do. I think there's something wrong. I really do. Is he just a stone cold psychopath, or I think he's got a learning difficulty. I really do. I really do. What did he call him? A nonce? Yeah, you're a paedophile. Like, bro, that fucking cracked me up. I really want to see that fight though. Dillian White versus Bacole. It's a good fight. Bacole probably beats him now. Honestly. I'd actually like to see it though. I think that'd be a really good fight. It's the sort of fight Bacole needs, and I think it's a good fight for Dillian because, like, where's Dillian gonna go if he can't get an AJ fight? Where's he gonna go? He may as well fight at Bacole because Bacole's up and coming. He's dangerous. I think that'll be a good fight. People call Tyen the Sheffield Stalker, but it's actually Galahad. Yeah, I can't think of many other fighters I'd be suspect of. Most aren't, to be fair. Yeah. What's the population? Is it like 3 out of every 100 they reckon are psychopaths? And not all psychopaths are dangerous. I mean, the vast majority of psychopaths, if they're going to fuck people over, usually it's in regards to finances or things of that nature. They'll be more emotionally abusive, whatever. Very few psychopaths are actually violent. Very, very few are violent. I'll reinstate this. You're a product of your environment, and Tank was neglected as a kid, and maybe that does something to your personality. He may be on disturbed reality one day. Oh yeah, no doubt. Listen, your environment definitely shapes you to a certain degree. It definitely does. You'd be a fool to deny otherwise. But at the same time, there's been countless horror stories of people growing up in absolutely dreadful conditions, in dreadful circumstances, and they turn out okay. It can be used as a bit of a excuse sometimes, and I understand. Like, I had nowhere near as tougher upbringing as Tank, but nowhere near. But I grew up in a poor working class family over here. I got involved with the wrong people primarily at college, 16 to 19, done stuff I shouldn't be doing. I understand how easy it is to go down that road. I understand the appeal in it anyway. I kind of turned my back on it. It just wasn't me. But a lot of kids don't do that. I understand the appeal of it. Easy money. It's almost like a brotherhood, people you're rolling with. I get it. But like at the same time, sometimes you just have to grow up. You're not a child anymore. You can't use your past experiences always as an excuse. Do you know what I mean? No idea yet, bro. I'm still not decided. Puzzling People by Thomas Sheridan, best book on psychopaths. Yeah, Thomas Sheridan's good, man. He's got a good channel. He's got a really good channel. I like his channel. I've not listened to him for a long time, but he's got a really good channel. Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And that's where most of these people are going to reside. Boxing's not really a place for a psychopath. As weird as that sounds, a violent blood sport, but it's not really. Maybe on the promotional side, yeah, or managerial side, yeah. But in regards to actual fighters, no. psychopaths usually go down the path of least resistance. They're more so exploitative rather than, putting themselves in harm's way directly. So being a boxer is not really being a boxer isn't really a natural path for a psychopath. Do you know what I mean? That's why you see so many psychopaths in media, politics, science, etc., where they can obtain positions of power, real power. You look at politicians and you see that dead stare, just staring through the camera, like they're staring through you, through the camera. There's no life in the eyes at all, no life whatsoever. Like completely gone, nothing there. Yeah, a lot of sociopaths in boxing, I would imagine. Facts, not psychopaths, facts. Sodomites tend to be psychopaths. Andy Ruiz Jr. giving out John Wayne Gacy vibes. There's a lot of those types in boxing. I don't mean he's John Wayne Gacy, but what I mean when I say this about Andy Ruiz, to me, he exudes like Peter Pan syndrome. Like he acts like somebody who never grew up. He speaks like a child. He's very la-di-da-di-da, immature, no discipline. He just comes across like a child, Andy Ruiz. He's a weird dude, Toby. He's a weird guy. Again, I believe the eyes are the gateway to the soul, or the mirror. What is it? The gateway to the soul. Whatever. I think the eyes tell a lot. They never lie. Like when you can see pain in somebody's eyes, as in like emotional pain or emotional baggage, you can see it in people's eyes. Yeah, windows to the soul. That's the expression I was looking for. Windows to the soul. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's very true. I don't think David Hayes a narcissist, by the way. I don't think he is. But no, he's probably a narcissist. But there's levels of narcissism. I don't think necessarily all narcissists are bad people. But there's levels to narcissism. There's levels to it. I don't think David Hayes is like a harmful person, to be honest. I've met David Hayes and he was fine. He was cool. Like he chatted to us for like 10 plus minutes. He was all right. It was cool. Wings of Redemption without box Andy Ruiz on the outside. Bro, he probably threw more punches than Andy fucking Ruiz. Oh, God. I don't think Mayweather's a psychopath either. I don't think he is. I think he strikes me as somebody with some sort of maybe like a mild autism. Like socially, he's terrible, Mayweather. It's actually a wonder he ever got so popular. But you see the way he interacts with people, it's something really odd about it. Yeah, he's a narcissist, David Hay. You're probably right, but I don't think he's a bad person. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to him. Fair play to him, man. Listen, enjoy yourself. But I don't think Mayweather is a psychopath. Again, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he had some sort of like maybe a learning difficulty or some sort of social disability, like you know what I mean, some sort of social issue. I want to see Wings back in the ring, by the way. I want to see Wings back in the ring. I want to see Wings fight that alcoholic guy, Only Use Me Blade. That's what I want to see next. I'll pay good money for it as well. 1-0. One by way of Wings of Redemption. No blueprint. Mayweather's definitely a narcissist. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Mayweather's a weird character, man. Like with Mayweather, I very often wonder, outside of boxing, how does he view the world? Like, does he have any worldviews? Because he's had a couple of base takes. He has had a couple of base takes. Like how he spoke about like the BS of Corona, and he was kind of rocking with Trump. Like he's had some base takes. So I do wonder like what his worldview is. Yeah, he does. That was so fucking funny. You could tell that cut him deep as well. He was pissed. You could just tell. Bro, Luton Town, big up Luton, up the Hatters. They beat Sunderland. They're in the playoff final. Big up Luton. So yeah, I wonder about Mayweather. Like what a conversation would be like with Mayweather off camera. I do wonder. Maybe he's just smarter than I give him credit for, because on camera, to me, just comes across, I don't know. I certainly think he's got a mind of his own to a certain degree, more so than most celebrities. Bro, yeah, they've got to play. I'm not sure who they've got to play in the final. But Luton Town's ground is like fucking tiny. It's like 10,000 people. I've been there, and the away stand, you have to fucking. I've been there a couple of times, and the away stand, you literally have to like. There's a fucking. It's like the stadium is attached to houses. I can't explain it, but as you go in the away stand, there's like a staircase you got over people's gardens. I kid you not. It's mad. Yeah, he made smart investments. Did you know? Like there's a Mayweather bingo back in the day, right? Like I made smart investments. He's a young, hungry competitor. It is what it is. What other Mayweather sayings were there? Straight up and down, no special effects. Hell of a competitor. What else did Mayweather say? You know, no, what was that? Broner. That's Broner. Yeah, tough, rugged guy was another one. Yeah, hell of a fighter. I made a lucrative deal. I think Wilder. I'm not sure whether Wilder's narcissistic. No, he's a narcissist. Probably he's a narcissist. Yeah, I think most high level fighters probably are. To be honest, I think the whole narcissist thing's kind of irrelevant. There's just levels to it. I don't think, aside from Wilder being low IQ, I don't think there's anything like necessarily like evil there. Absolutely. McGregor's a weird one. I don't know whether with McGregor, is that guy just fried? Like his brain's been fried with coke and shit whiskey. I think that's the crux of it with Wilder, just low IQ. Because on the come up, he was a corny fuck, but like way before any of this like YTBC shit got really popular, Wilder was just a cornball. He was kind of like just a cornball. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing particularly off about him. AJ's hard to read as well. Yeah, AJ is very hard to read. He's guarded. He's a very guarded person. I think with AJ as well, a lot of it again. I don't know. I don't know with AJ. I think with AJ, he's just. Yeah, it's hard to read AJ. I can't lie. Insecure, I'd say. Yeah, insecure. That's fucking weird. That sounds like Deontay Wilder, though. It sounds like Deontay Wilder. I can't believe Luton are in the playoff final, bruv. That's insane. It's going to be Luton Middlesbrough, I think. It's going to be Luton Middlesbrough. I want Luton to get promoted, man, just because it's fucking Luton. But if it's I think Middlesbrough are going to beat Coventry in the second leg. I think they'll beat Coventry. And I think it will be Borough and Luton in the final. I don't like Middlesbrough. I just find them to be like they're a yo-yo club. They've been in the Premier League so many times. They're just boring. But I like Carrick. So it's like, if they get promoted, they get promoted. But I'd rather Luton. Luton versus Columbia. Bro, Luton's a fucking shithole, man. Honestly, it's a dump. Yeah, AJ got splattered against a fucking fat Mexican dude, man. 5'11" Mexican dude. I think that's the defeat that really stings AJ is the Ruiz one. Because that's like an embarrassing loss. Like losing to Usyk, I know he's smaller, but to me there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is, but he should have never lost to Ruiz. Never. I hate the Middlesbrough accent. It's more bastardized than Geordie, innit? Yeah, these days, man, I don't go to Luton anymore. I used to like Marsh Farm, bro. It's fucking dump. I haven't been Luton for a while, man. Like a while. That's it. Yeah. What you need to do with Andy Ruiz, you need to like get a plunger, get a bit of string, and tie like a slice of pizza, and tie it to the end of a plunger. Then take the plunger, put it on Andy Ruiz's head, so he's chasing it, and like flailing his arms around, and then inadvertently he's going to hit his opponent and knock him out. Yeah, I think everybody hates Luton, bro. Everyone hates Luton. Yeah, it's a shit. Yeah, we were saying this earlier, Yemi, man. It was a fucking disgrace, honestly. That's the thing with Andy Ruiz. You don't pay him. You just like promise him like a year, like fucking all you can eat guarantee at like Pizza Hut, and you're fine. He's gonna be a dangerous man. He's gonna be a dangerous man if that happens. Ruiz versus Wings, winner gets free burgers. No, not anymore, cuz. Not anymore. Nothing good, man. Nothing good comes from Luton. Yeah, Marsh Farm, man. Bruv. Marsh Farm and Berry Park as well. Berry Park as well, man, bruv. It's one of those places, though, Luton. It's like, if you know Luton, like you know where to go. You know who not to go to. Like you know where to go. You know the dangers, and you know what I'm saying. Like I can walk through Luton fine. I wouldn't feel too bad about it. But like to an outsider, bro, it's a fucking dump. It's a fucking dump. I've never been to Ipswich. I've never been to Ipswich. I've been to Norwich. I've never been to Ipswich. Norfolk's a weird ass place, you know. Norfolk just has this different vibe to it. I don't know why. Norfolk has a different vibe to it. Andy Ruiz looks friendly and a cool guy, but his wife says he's an absolute scumbag. Drinks, drugs, women, gambling, etc. Maybe it was the 15 plus million he made in the AJ fights. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to find out, like, if there's any like actual evidence in regards to what she's accusing him of, but it wouldn't surprise me. It is A Blacks. It feels the vibe is more like Londony. The vibe is more Londony, to be honest. The vibe is more Londony. So with like when I was rolling around there back in the day, it's kind of like the gangs will segregate themselves. So it's like Asian gangs, Albanians, and blacks and whites used to mix together. That's how it used to be when I was coming up there. There's some cool people there as well, man. I had some good times out there. Had done some shit I shouldn't do. Don't get me wrong, but you know, sometimes you look back, and the times in life where I was stone cold broke. I left college at 19. I lost my part time job. No, hang on. I went college from 16 to 19. I was working as well. I lost my job at 18. And 18 to 19, I was doing some dumb shit, man. Dumb shit. And it was like, fucking hell. I don't know what made me, I know what made me, it's weird, you know. Throughout the whole time, I knew that wasn't me, but I just did it anyway. I just did it anyway. I think it was just mainly emotional immaturity. And I had a massive chip on my shoulder when I was young. Massive chip on my shoulder. I kind of had the attitude. I don't know. I was just really resentful, and it makes you act a certain way. Kind of makes you act out. Yeah, Tommy Carty. Yeah, Tom McCartney, whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy from Scotland. Yeah, the Jay McFarlane guy. Yeah, bro. Fucking hell, that guy. Yeah, Midlands or London, neither wants to claim it. Fucking facts. Yeah, more so on the outskirts, or it used to be that way anyway. I was just an arse hat, bro. I was working with a plumber at the time. I was just an arse hat. I tried to get with a customer's daughter, who was I kind of knew her anyway, but I was kind of working on it on the side. That was one thing. That wasn't really it anyway. I just kind of lost it after a while. I wasn't really showing up when I should be showing up and just dumb shit like that. And that was the last straw. He caught me like, yeah, chirping her up and that. And but yeah, I had some good fun out there. Yeah, I was about to say, sometimes when you're broke, like some of the best times I've ever had, some of the like most memorable things, like just things you look back on and smile. Some of my best times when I was like fucking flat broke with no idea what I was going to do in life. No idea whatsoever. And to have that kind of feeling at 18, 19 years old, it's kind of daunting. Kind of fucks you up, to be honest. But I had some good times. I had some really good times. But as I said earlier, I can easily see how kids go down that route, like young men, teenagers, young men. I can easily see how they go down that route, especially in this day and age where opportunities in areas like that are lacking. And it's getting worse now as well. I kind of feel for the young kids coming up, because young kids now are told, boys I'm talking about, are told like there's something wrong with masculinity. This is wrong with you. This is wrong. That is wrong. Combine that with like growing up in a working class environment where there's no real hope. You're not really going down the path in which you should be going down. When you combine that with like society telling you there's now something wrong with masculinity, it doesn't surprise me that so many young kids are fucked up. Young boys are fucked up, going down the wrong path. It really doesn't surprise me. Really doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that's true as well. That's true as well. I got lucky. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't get lucky. Well, I got lucky. I'd never got caught for anything, but I made the conscious decision to kind of quit what I was doing, and I was feeling this way for a while. And one of my friends, so my best friend from school, who I was rolling around with as well, I was kind of doing shit with him, and he kind of dumbed me out of money. It was ill-gotten gains anyway, so like looking back, I don't care, obviously. But at the time, I did. It was a lot of money to me. It wasn't like a lot of money, but it was a lot of money to me at the time. And we fell out. We had a fight, and I walked home. So we was in a Morrison's car park. It was shut. Morrison's was shut, and we was talking, having this heated ass conversation. Had a scrap with him, and he drove off. I had to fucking walk home like 5 fucking miles. And that was that. That was that. I thought after that day, I thought, fuck this shit, man. It's done out here. We're done. We're gonna act like a civilized person and actually, try and get on. That's what I don't understand, bro, JD. Like that's one thing about me. That's the only regret I have in regards to when I was that age, sort of 16 to 19. Yeah, we was poor growing up, but I had good fucking parents. I had no excuse to do what I did. That's what I'm kind of ashamed of more than anything. That's where my regret lies. It's not necessarily that's my only regret in regards to that part of life. Really, I didn't have an excuse for it because I had good parents, really good parents. I was lucky. But yeah, I just got involved with with the wrong people, and you know how it goes. Yeah, I know, right? Pimp my sniper. And yeah, to the point now, it's a good point, JD. Like it's to the point now where like I don't have any friends from school anymore, none. I have no friends from back in Luton anymore, none. And I just have friends I met at college who I was friends with them in college, but I didn't really go. We didn't really hang out that much outside of college, but we kind of kept in touch, and yeah, we're good friends, like proper boys. So yeah, I don't know everyone who I used to roll with back in the day. I'm not friends with them. Not friends with them anymore. A couple turned it around as well, which is good. And one is serving, I think, 11, 12 years for like armed robbery or some bullshit like that. And another, he's been in and out of prison. Last time he was in prison was intent to supply, Class A. So yeah. Not seen it, Michael. Not seen it. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling that way, Matt. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Everyone my age, mid to late 20s, is planning to leave or has left, trying to do the same myself too. Yeah, facts. Facts, bro. Yeah, that's why maybe I need to get on this influencer boxing thing. Let's just plug the other channel, get back training, start calling people out. If I win a few fights, earn a bit of money, then fuck off. Get out of here. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'd go. I'd probably go America, like Florida or Texas. I think that'll be the destination I'd go. If I had like no strings, like no family and money, like enough money to like go anywhere, I'd go Texas, I think. I'd go Texas. But Florida seems pretty cool as well. Florida seems pretty cool as well. Yeah, it's mad, bro. Yeah, the thing, yeah. The narrative of pushing Davis to being the new face of boxing, yeah. It doesn't really matter, bro, who the face of boxing is. Because like all of these guys being propped up, like Canelo, Tank Davis now, Mayweather back in the day, they're all bad for boxing in their own ways. The proliferation of like abusing A-side tactics, rehydration clauses, etc. Doesn't really matter if Tank is a face or Canelo is the face. It's what they represent. Those faces are ugly, in my opinion. If you want, we can spar. I'll let you tee off on me and use it for promotion. Oh, mate. Texas, yeah, Austin, Texas. I guess that's true, right, Yimmy? I guess that's true. Like maybe we see the grass is greener on the other side. But it's not just like, I'm not even just talking politically in the UK though, and where this country's heading in that sense. It's not just that. Something as like trivial as the weather. I'm as I've got older, I resent British weather more and more and more and more. That's one thing. The second thing that really kind of gets me is like there's no community where I live, none, nada. Like if you walk down the street and you say hello to somebody, they'll be taken aback. They'll look at you strange. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what pisses me off. Well, bro, you're going to learn from it though, right? You're going to learn Nordic. You need to improve cardio and things of that nature, and look at it as a building block. Maybe you spar that same person in 3 months' time, and you can compare the footage, see where you've progressed. You don't even have to upload it, bro. Maybe wait. Maybe wait and like wait till you spar him again in a few months and show the progress. So this was then, this is now type of thing. I wouldn't want to go to London, JD. I wouldn't want to go. Even if I could afford it, I wouldn't go there. I don't know what they're going to do with him, Michael Van Gerwen. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Who are they going to match him with? It's a weird one. Up north, yeah, maybe. If I were to move somewhere else in the UK, it probably would be up north. But the weather's even worse up there than it is down here. That's a problem. But the winters are colder. Things of that nature. Yeah, I've watched it back several times. He's been boxing his whole life and is a pretty high-level amateur. Also got a big height and reach advantage. I landed one good shot in 3 rounds. Well, you landed one, right? So, like, you can build on it. So maybe next time you land 10, do you know what I'm saying? So you make the most of it. Like, you know where to look, you know what to improve upon. I think a lot of it is just cardio as well, man. A lot of it is cardio when you start out or when you go back training. Thailand is my destination. Move up there for cheap, buy a mansion, get 10 girlfriends, and open a bar or hotel. Great weather too. Live like a king. Could be a good shout. Could be a good shout. Although I have to say, I like some of the food out there, but I've never really been big on like wanting to go to Asia for some reason. I'd go, don't get me wrong. I would go, but it's like there's other places I'd much rather go. When you came back, Nordic, like when you started training again, like how long did it take you to spar again? Like how many weeks or sessions? Okay, after about 2 weeks. See, that's what I'd be aiming for as well. When I go back, I need to buy some new gloves, new shoes, new boxing boots. So I sold all my shit when I stopped. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I've got to fucking work tomorrow. I've got to go to the office. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up. Anyway, guys, have a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, all that good shit. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you. I'd hope to do a stream next week as well. We'll see. Peace out, guys. Have a great week.